All right, we are live. This is the sound check portion. I don't see anybody in the chat yet, which is a little disappointing, but please tell us how all three microphones sound. This is one microphone. This is another microphone. Please let us know how it sounds.
And yet another microphone.
Yes, which is Dave.
All of the sounds.
Who is here?
I got a notification pop up for the
Okay.
YouTubes.
Well, that's good. That's a start. So again, we're waiting for anybody to hop in. Ah, we got Tevin. What's up?
Well, that's good. That's a start. So again, we're waiting for anybody to hop in.
All right, how about you mute that? Okay, thanks. Tevin, how does this microphone sound? So our two main ones sound good, but how about this one for our special guest? Sweet Studios. Oh, Sweet Studios. And Luna Girl. Okay, so all right. Mine and Dave's mic sound fine. Again, for the third mic, tell us how this sounds, please. And thank you. Sound check. Check, check. Better. What do you mean better? We didn't do anything. All right, well, how does this mic sound? Is it good? Still waiting. Distant. Fuck, I knew it. Yeah, this, I think this mic is fucked. We may have to replace it. Oh. Did you hear that? How about now? Did that do anything?
Besides short out the entire board.
Yeah. But yeah, let me know if that changed anything. Otherwise, I'm going to have to grab another mic real quick.
Do we have another one?
Yeah. Remember we used to have like 3 of this kind?
I vaguely.
That's how we started the show.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
All right. Anybody, this mic, did me reseating the cannon plug do anything? If not, I'm going to grab another mic. All right. I'm going to grab another mic since nobody's saying anything.
It doesn't show you as being recording. It stopped recording after 3 minutes, right?
No, it's still live.
All right, then something's messed up with mine.
Are you on the right YouTube channel?
No. Oh, no. I don't know. Oh, yeah, no.
Let's try this. Okay, is this microphone any better? Somebody please tell me that this mic is better. Anybody? Loving you.
I was going to say, you're holding the mic like you're getting ready to do karaoke.
Beautiful.
It's better.
All right. Now I have to figure out a way to sneak this back through. Oh, hold on. Now I have to unplug it and plug it back in. So,
Yeah, why didn't you just do that in the beginning?
because I didn't know if it was going to work. Okay. Is it still good?
It's scary to think that you used to work on airplanes.
I used to fix them too before pilots would go fly them.
Yeah.
So. All right. Is it still good? Please tell me this is still good. When in doubt, switch the mic out. Yeah, see, exactly. Thank you, Scott. But I still need a sound check on the mic after I reconnected. Come on, people. I hate this delay in the chat. It's killing me. Literally killing me.
Yep, you're dying. You're dying right now.
Yep. All right, good. Thank you, Scott. Christ almighty. So this is bad mic.
So beautiful.
Do, do, do. Ah! Ah! Oh, fuck. And Kelly said it sounded distant again. God damn it.
Sure it's that one?
I don't know, because there's such a delay in the chat. Yeah, I know, right? Jesus. All right. How about now? Is it any better now?
Is your mic muted?
No, nothing's muted.
Why don't you mute
Okay.
these mics? That way you can definitely.
Okay, the other mics are muted. This is the only one that works. This is the only one. So please tell me how it sounds. Ugh. Pain in my balls. Anybody? Just gonna pose while we wait. Better. All right. Luna Girl said better. Well, it was bumped anyway, but okay. So allegedly, it's all good, except for Bronco Fett says click.
Well, that's how we know it's good.
Oh, right. So
Am I unmuted?
Yeah, we're all unmuted now. Okay, we ready to do this?
Yeah.
All right. That being the case, and please keep us honest. Everybody in the chat or through text, let me know if any mics cut out at any point. We'd greatly depreciate it. And that being said, give me a countdown.
All right, ready?
Oh, my toast, by the way.
Roger.
Yeah.
All right, ready, set, go.
To Generation X.
To Generation X.
I've said it before, and I'll say it until the day that I die. We are the true greatest generation. So thank you to everybody who's been following from a Gen X point of view up to this point. And that being said, hello, everyone, and welcome to From a Gen X Point of View. This is our final episode under this brand, title, whatever you want to call it. This is episode 33. I'm Mr. Jason Roskam, with me here each and every single week. I got to come up with a new nickname for you because it shouldn't be Darth Vader to Palpatine anymore.
Right.
So we'll think about it. The bow to my Luke Duke? I don't know.
No, I don't know. I don't know if I like that one.
All right. So anyway, what are we talking about today, Dave?
I think we're talking about your Vegas vacation.
That's right.
So, really, this is just straight build up to somebody's vacation.
Right. So we're talking about Las Vegas, and we're not alone this week. We have a special guest joining us on the show for the first time ever. Mm-hmm. You know her as Supergirl 3000 in the chat. We refer to her as the Ice Winch.
He refers to her as the Ice Winch.
My wife, Kristen. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Is that mic in a good spot for you? Should I?
Right there.
All right. Yeah. Just shove it right in her face.
Yeah, it does have to be kind of close to your face, unfortunately.
Yeah, but
that's why we putz with it so much.
But yeah, I figured we'd have Kristen on the show because this is our vacation that we're taking next week, and it's just us too. We're not bringing the kids or anybody.
Right.
This was kind of a spontaneous thing that really just sort of happened one day.
Nice.
One of the weird side effects of COVID was plane ticket prices were so fucking cheap.
Yeah.
So
it's like, where do we go? Where should we go? We need to go somewhere.
Yeah, because I had just gotten back from California because I went out there kind of on a whim also for $100. I'm like, well, fuck, where else can we book a flight to? And like, let's check out Vegas. Why not? And sure enough, I got plane tickets for us for $80-something each.
Something like that.
For round trip tickets from Philly to Las Vegas.
Insane.
Yeah, which I think the prices have stabilized at this point. But
yeah,
when we booked them a few months ago, still dirt cheap.
Yeah, that was the time. Because right now, as things start to release a little bit and people are going to start traveling again and you're going to see prices go up, at some point the airlines are going to have to make their money back. Because they were probably operating at a loss for over a year now with COVID. So, yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay. I wasn't sure where else you were going with that.
No.
So Yes. So we are going to talk a lot of Las Vegas. We're going to talk some history of Las Vegas. We all watched a pretty cool documentary on the History Channel. Granted, it was a little old, but still, there's some relevant stuff in there. And then we're going to talk about a lot of our own personal Vegas stories. I know all three of us have been, some of us multiple times, and we've got some interesting stories to talk about. So we will get there all in due time. But first, we have a little segment that we always like to start off our show with. That's called This or That. If you follow us on social media, and Dave, while I'm pulling this up, why don't you tell everybody where to find us on social media now? Because we're, as part of the brand merging, we're all over the place right now.
Actually, no, we're not, because if you were already following us at All Things Star Wars podcast, you are already following the Sidebar Cantina, and that's where we're going to be, at the Sidebar Cantina. The name's been changed to protect the innocent, but if you're already subscribed through them, or you were subscribed to the All Things Star Wars podcast, you are now subscribed to the Sidebar Cantina. And if
Thank you.
And if you've been in the other, in Sidebar Cantina, not the Sidebar Cantina, or Gen X PoV or any of those, we're going to funnel everything to the main product. So bear with us while that happens. We're going to try and alleviate some of the workload of our amazing social media director who puts together this or that.
Yep.
That Jason's getting ready to finally do.
Okay, so again, every week, Lunar Girl posts a poll. She gives you two options, and you pick one, and we talk about the results here on the show. Because it's a vacation-themed episode, these are vacation-themed questions. And the first one is, where would you rather vacation? New York City or Los Angeles? A lot closer than I would have imagined on this. New York City only won by 55% to 45%.
I know I voted for LA just because.
Why?
Because fuck New York City.
But so what is there to do in LA besides watch a bunch of fucking bums piss all over the street?
I'd rather watch bums piss in the street in nice weather than in New York City, where you're still going to watch bums.
But there's really nothing to do there.
If given the choice to travel across country, and this is why I think it was closer, because if you have West Coast people that have never, been East, or you have East Coast people that don't want anything to fucking do with New York, because we've seen all the things there is to see. Fuck that city. I'll go anywhere else.
Damn.
Fuck New York. Seriously,
How many times do you have to go to New York before you've done everything there is to do in New York?
I don't know. I've probably been there. I've been there a bunch, but what I did most in New York was I spent a week in a hotel in Times Square and did everything there was to do. And this was like right after 9/11. So like went and saw like the 9/11 site when it was like still steaming. It was, but I've done the Empire State Building. I've done the Statue of Liberty. I've done Ellis Island, which isn't really New York City, by the by. Fuck New York.
I mean, as somebody who was born and raised in California, been to LA
that's
more times than I can count. Like, there's nothing appealing there for me. Now, if you go outside of LA, if you go to like the beach or to fucking Disney in Anaheim, that's one thing. But the city of Los Angeles is fucking trash.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's trash. It's full of traffic and fucking bums.
Yeah.
And it's not meant for tourists. There's really nothing to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Chase the stars, maybe, but
yeah. It's fine. I still would rather do that than New York City.
All right. Well, we could spend a whole show apparently talking about this one, but we've got more to do. The next one is New Orleans or Washington, D.C.
I'm a D.C. guy. I like it there. There's a lot more to do in D.C. than just the historical elements.
Yeah, I picked DC because I haven't really done the DC tourist thing yet.
Really?
Yeah, like for all the years that I've been out here, I haven't done the whole touristy thing in DC. I need to. I want to. It's just, we haven't gotten around to it.
I've never been to DC. So.
Yeah, but we've been to New Orleans, and it was okay.
It was fine. It was good to go once.
Horrible. I mean, spending all the time we spent in Keesler, I'd been to New Orleans and been there, done that. Have the fucking t-shirt. But DC, even if you've never done it, like getting down there to like park and then walk around on the mall, go to the Air and Space Museum, go see the Constitution, all that shit is right there. You can do that in a day.
Yeah.
Like you can make a day trip. That's the beauty of where we live, is because if you really want to go to New York City, I don't know why, but it's a few hours. DC is like 3 hours from us. So you get to go down there. And this is actually a good time of year for DC too, because they have the cherry blossom festival that happens. So yeah,
cool. Well, so the final results are New Orleans actually won 65% to 35%.
I think if people actually like spent any time in New Orleans, they'd realize that like they like the idea of New Orleans much more than they like the actual town.
Yeah, this next one was interesting, and I'm kind of surprised by the results. Would you rather go to Alaska or Hawaii? We've spent plenty of time at both locations.
Right.
I don't know why anybody would ever choose Alaska over Hawaii. I can see some benefits of Alaska, but that's a place you see it once and you're like, okay, I'm good.
There are definitely things that I would probably still like to do in Alaska, like maybe do some, Cessna caravan flying up in the mountains, or do one of those glacier tours or something like that. But Hawaii every day, for the same reason that if I go to LA, I'm probably going to spend most of the time just sitting in the fucking sun.
Right.
I can do the same thing in Hawaii.
Yeah. And this is one of those areas where, this is kind of on my bucket list to take places to take Kristen to, because given our previous jobs, you and I have been to these places plenty of times.
We've had,
without wives.
Yeah, we've had plenty of romantic dinners together.
Yes.
In these places.
Yeah, with either ourselves or with other dudes in our squadron. So we never got to bring our wives. We've talked about going to Hawaii for years, and it's on the list. Maybe sometime after Vegas.
But. Yeah, I think, and for us, for military, going to get to Halikoa, get the opportunity to stay there relatively cheap. I mean, obviously, if you can figure out the space A, then you can do that too.
Sounds like a pain in the ass, but anyway, Hawaii won.
Casey Ting goes to fucking Hawaii all the time.
All right, 64% Hawaii, 36% Alaska on that one.
Not knocking Alaska. There's definitely some
but
beautiful mountain ranges and everything else.
You go once or twice though, and you're good for life.
It's gonna sound a lot like Are you at the Rockies?
One? So this is the next one. Would you rather see the Rocky Mountains or the Appalachian Mountains? I got to be honest. I'm not even sure what the Appalachians are. I know what the Rockies are.
The Poconos. Have you heard of the Poconos?
I've heard it before. I don't think I've ever. I don't think so. When would I go to the Poconos? Have you ever been to the Poconos?
Yes.
When?
A couple years ago.
With who?
Emily. She had a lake house.
Where the hell was I?
I don't know.
Probably at school.
Maybe. Anyway, so I picked the Rockies just because I know the Rockies.
I picked the Rockies as well.
And John Denver's full of shit, man.
I like the high Rockies, like that higher elevations, and would love to go out and like do some hiking and do some other stuff, because the Appalachians are in my backyard. Right, they're right there. So
Lunar Girl, I think, got a little offended in the chat. She's like, I live in the Appalachians. Like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. And I love the Poconos. I love the Appalachian Mountains. I think, it's the oldest mountain range on the planet. And there's a lot of beauty there. Fuck Bronco Fett and his he made some comment in the chat about the fucking the Rockies. Look, you don't knock it till you've been out there and actually gotten an opportunity to enjoy it. I think the same reasons I would enjoy the Appalachians are the same reasons I would enjoy the Rockies. I just would like to go to the Rockies more to actually do like the type of outdoorsy stuff that I can do in the Appalachians.
Yeah.
Right. It's not
so
whatever. I don't ski or anything, so I don't have it to go on.
Yeah. The Rockies won 76% to 24%. Next one, which one would you rather go to? Yosemite or the Grand Canyon? This seemed like a slam dunk to me. I picked Yosemite, like, without question. Like, I'd much rather go somewhere with like fucking trees and, green than just a big canyon. Yeah. Like, we've seen the Grand Canyon from the plane enough times. And when I think about the Grand Canyon, I always think about that scene from Vacation.
Yep.
Don't you want to look at the Grand Canyon?
Yep.
It's great. Right, let's go.
Yeah. I would like to go to the Grand Canyon, like actually physically go there, but that's a one and done thing.
Yeah.
Whereas Yosemite, I would like to go and spend time there.
Right.
To
be like able a cabin in the woods.
Yeah. Like go hiking and the same kind of stuff, like really appreciate the beauty of it. Whereas the Grand Canyon, it's like, okay, yeah, there it is. It's huge. You're never going to see all of it in a fucking day.
Yeah.
And unless you're going to go whitewater rafting into Colorado at some
No,
point.
thank you.
Yeah, conditions have to be just right. And I'm not ever going to fucking take a helicopter ride. Like I see these people to take the Vegas helicopters, which we'll probably talk about here in a little bit
Yeah.
with our main topic, but never would you catch my ass fucking this half drunk fucking helicopter pilot going out to Grand Canyon. Forget that shit. No
Fair enough.
way.
All right, Kristen, you didn't have much to say about Grand Canyon versus Yosemite. Any opinions?
I've never seen either. I have not traveled the way you guys have.
Yeah.
So you have no opinion?
I would love to see the Grand Canyon. And I actually brought it up to Jason that we could take the helicopter from Vegas and they fly you over there and they land you on the floor of the canyon. You walk around for a few minutes and you get back up and leave.
Isn't that what they did in Viva Las Vegas, the Elvis movie? Didn't they take a helicopter
They did,
from?
yeah. And then of course he's like, "How much is it?" And I'm like, "It's only like $700 a person." And all of a sudden we weren't talking about it anymore. So
Yeah, that's
yeah, go figure.
honestly, you could take the rental car and drive down there if you really wanted to, and see a lot.
We are going to the Hoover Dam, but we'll
Yeah.
talk about that more
Yeah.
as we get there. So the next, did I say who won that one, by the way? Yosemite won 55% to 45%. Then we've got resorts or theme parks.
Right.
Universal versus Disney. Disney won 64% to 36%. Obviously, I picked Disney. We're a Disney family, though there is some bitterness in our household right now.
Every single time we go to California, I say, "Can we do Universal?" And every single time he says, "Yeah, we can definitely talk about it." And then we end up spending an extra day in Disney.
We never have enough time. And the only reason she wants to go is to see that stupid Harry Potter shit.
They had the Death Eaters light show.
I don't
last
even
time,
know what that
And I
means.
wanted to go, but we stayed in Disney.
Harry Potter. That's
The only time that we really went out West Coast with the family, we did Universal.
That does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we could do it. Like we actually got the annual pass,
Mhm.
like passing through Las Vegas, or we're landing in Las Vegas, and we got the annual pass. So we did 2 days in the park and pretty much got to see everything. Harry Potter wasn't finished yet in 14. So you could see the construction of it.
all right. We've still got like 5 more of these to go through.
Do
So
we
let's
really?
let's
All
try
right.
to blast through these pretty quick. Which would you rather have? A pampered day at the spa or a hike in the woods? The hike in the woods won 65% to 35%.
As it should.
Bunch of weirdos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a mode of transportation, this one was interesting. Planes versus trains. Planes won 56% to 44%.
Everything is wrong.
I mean, I wouldn't mind doing like the cross country train trip once when I'm not on a timeline, when there's things to see along the way. My dad did that once when he came out here to visit
Yeah.
from California. But I mean, most of the time I'd rather take a plane because I want to get to where I'm fucking going.
Yeah. I mean, taking a train that's going to eat up a lot of whatever time you're going to have at
Exactly.
your destination. So if the idea is to just take the train, then okay, cool. And I agree. I think I'd want to do that. The fact is, we talked about doing it. Kathy and we talked about doing it with Kate at one point, doing a cross country train thing to go to like San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not expensive. But I don't like, I'm not into train. Like I'm into trains to look at. I'm not into trains to be on for days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I'm willing to put up with some cramped quarters and some, little bit of discomfort for a few hours to get to where I'm going and be in a nice fucking, I can rub my elbows around hotel, but I'm not taking the train just for the sake of taking it. Plus, planes are way safer. Way safer. This is coming from an aviation expert.
Any opinion?
No. I will say that your dad who did the cross country thing on the train,
Uh-huh.
he only did it one time.
Yeah.
And I think that they flew home. I think that
They did fly home, and yeah, he's like, that was good to do
Yeah.
once, and I'll never do it again.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I can totally see that.
But I hate to fly. Absolutely hate to fly. So
As we're about to go flying.
Sorry, just take drugs. Lots of Benadryl. It'll be fine.
All right, moving on. Camping, tent versus an RV. I mean, I picked an RV. I understand the whole point of camping is to go and be out in the wilderness, but there's a reason why people don't just like build shelters under trees anymore as, a way to live. It's a lot more comfortable to be in a house. And
It is. No, 100%. I think David K, you're so wrong. I get it. Like, I like the idea of the tent camping better than the actual implementation at this age.
Sure.
Like as I am right now, because I still, excuse me, I'd still like to get to a point where I could go hike some of the Appalachian Trail and actually just with the pack on, like me and the dog, just go for a couple days and just hike for a couple days, and then get picked up or do whatever.
Or
that
get
would be
killed
fun.
by the Blair Witch.
No, nothing's going to kill me like that. I'd probably just slip and fall. Honestly.
Right.
But no, RV is like, if I could do it right now, if you ask me right now, what would I rather do? Like, yeah, I'd rather be in an RV where I can, sleep on a bed as opposed to
the ground where you wake up and your back's like, fuck.
Yeah, I'm just at a point at this age where there's not even the best mattress pad is still just a pad.
Mm-hmm. All right, so RVs won 63% to 37%. Last one,
excuse me,
lake house or beach house. A lot closer than I would have imagined. For me, the beach house, slam dunk. Like if I could, I'd own a house on the beach.
Yeah,
but a lake house, I mean,
Have you stayed in a lake house before?
Not that I can think of.
You should try it. There's something to be said for it.
I'm sure there's a feeling of peace and being one with nature and all that shit. But
so this is a conversation that Kathy and I have, or I have, and Kathy listens to. But I'm a beach guy, right?
Uh-huh.
I would totally rather have the beach. But if like we had the means to do either or, it's a close thing. Because there's the isolation that a lake house provides is actually it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
You can go kayaking and do all, like, there's so much other stuff. Whereas with the beach, I'd be more zen, like with the ocean crashing and stuff like that. Like the entire environment is amazing. Like, but it's close. It's close enough where, like I said, if I had the means, beach house still wins. But I think you don't knock it till you try it.
All right.
The lake house.
Lake house too?
Yeah,
wow.
absolutely.
Okay. That's kind of surprising.
You have to do it.
And beach house narrowly won 54% to 46%.
Yeah.
And that is this week's This or That. So thank you again to our social media director, Luna Girl, for posting that. And follow us at the Sidebar Cantina, and you'll see these polls come up all the time. That being said, we ready to get into our week?
Yes.
All right. So for me, it's been all about the Vegas prep. We watched our last Vegas-themed movie 2 or 3 days ago. We watched The Hangover again. I mean, we've all seen The Hangover multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best movies made in the last 20 years, quite frankly.
Uh-huh.
And it really is the perfect Vegas movie, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you've been there, you've done the whole, like, just getting shit-faced and...
Yeah. Staggering around, into certain things, being out in the middle of the desert.
Yeah. Obviously, it was an exaggerated version of that tale, but great fucking movie. I love that movie so much. So good. Which, funny enough, we have never seen the third one.
I haven't seen the second one.
Oh, well,
Third one.
we saw the second one. Second one was okay. It was
okay.
It was basically just the same stuff in Thailand.
See, and that's the issue. Like these movies that make seconds, just like, all right, let's do the money grab. Unless somebody comes back and says this is an absolute must see. No, I'm not going to do it.
Which, I mean, and I think that's kind of what they said about the third one. Even though they go back to Vegas in the third one, most people said it was just kind of a money grab type situation. It wasn't that great. So I never got around to seeing it.
I'm not the type of person to let a sequel ruin my enjoyment of the original.
Says the Star Wars fan. So
that is an entirely different level of abuse.
Indeed. Yeah, it's kind of like Stockholm Syndrome at this point with us Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
But Google it, you fucking idiots. So moving on. The only other thing that I really did this week was we took my car to get inspected. We had talked about this a while back, and we actually took it on, what was it, Friday? The 30th. Whatever day the 30th was, the last day of the month.
Right after lunch, like early afternoon, last day of the month,
right
on a Friday. I'm like, there's going to be lines to 38.
Right.
I don't know if you've been to that one, but
Yeah.
I've waited in 3-hour-long lines for that.
Yep.
Yeah, not that it was my car was about to expire. It had been expired for like 5 months, so
Right.
it wasn't. It just happened to be the last day of the month, and I'm like, I should probably get my car inspected at some point,
Right.
because the guys on base were starting to say something, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's in my plans. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
And so yeah, I finally had it done. What a fucking racket this whole New Jersey inspection thing is, So we roll up. There's like 3 cars there and about 10 employees. And they get us in and out so quick. They look at the car and slap a new sticker on it, and then we're off. And I'm like, these motherfuckers are probably getting paid so much by the state. And
Rob, okay.
And for what purpose at this point? What purpose does this New Jersey inspection serve besides creating these fucking jobs for these people to stand around, look at your car, and give you a sticker and allow you to drive again?
Well, it wasn't always like this.
Okay.
It used to be like it was emissions, it was brake checking, it was like, they checked your tires, make sure the tire wear and everything was right. And you'd go through all that, and they used to fail a lot more vehicles.
Mhm.
But I think with the modernization of the car itself, like if we were still driving 1986 kind of cars, you need to have that inspection because cars were just falling apart on the road.
True.
These days, you don't necessarily have that. You see a lot less of cars just having safety issues. So their thing, you can plug an ODB. You plug into the car. The car's going to tell you, hey, it's got issues with the fucking emissions. It's got all this. You can't really hide it. You can. There's ways, but you can't effectively hide it. And so they'll plug into the car. The car's going to tell them what they need to know. And like, okay, they'll look it over, and then that's it. Like, okay, boom, go. And it's free. Like, so here's the thing. In Pennsylvania, like they're going to go, they're going to fucking look at your car, and then it's going to cost you to get inspected. In New Jersey, it's always been free. Unless you take it to an inspection station, which back in the day, the only reason you do that is because you have a questionable car and you want to have a fucking sticker.
Right.
Yeah.
So you go and you pay
Which we've done that in
to
the past too.
Yeah.
And you basically pay them to pass you.
Yeah, totally. And my father-in-law's fucking truck is at a place right now to do that very thing. Now they're going to work on it to fucking whatever. But in reality, like you don't necessarily have to do that anymore. Like the super long inspection lines have been like, because COVID, they started opening stuff up. There was a couple like really insane months where everyone's trying to catch up.
Oh, don't even get me started on the DMV. The DMV is still fucked right now.
Oh yeah,
but
it's good luck. Get an appointment and wait fucking 3 months to get a new title on a car. It's fucking insane. But yeah, the fact that in New Jersey right now, like you can take your car, like my daughter's 2001 Escape, it needs inspection. Boop, they're going to plug it in. As long as the check engine light's not on, the fucking thing's not leaking oil all the way into the thing. Boom, put an inspection on it and have a nice day.
Yeah.
Whereas you'd have to pay for that in PA. Fact is, Swede's in here. How much does it cost you to fucking get your shit inspected?
While we wait for him, the only other, actually, that's the only thing I had.
Yeah.
Like a very slow week for me. A lot of work going on. I have a lot of shit I got to get done work wise before we go on vacation. So that's really been it for me.
Yeah.
So what about you?
It's last week was a crazy week. We had so much stuff going on. I ended up teleworking all week just because we had contractors in the house and I had contractors at the lodge and had all this other stuff. That wasn't even close. Not even close. But before I talk about anything, I just wanted Big Lovin's in the chat, and I don't know if you can see it just quite. There you go. That's for you, Brady.
Not to be outdone. That's for you, Nick.
Anyway, so yeah, was really busy just trying to. The house was apart, craziness and trying to work around all this other stuff while the floor was being put down in our family room and the bathroom and all that. So once that was done, we had to get the house kind of put back together. That's why I missed the Escape Pod guys. They did a Patreon supported a podcast just like with all the Patreon people on there, which was fun. And unfortunately I missed it because my shit was all still taken apart. But yeah, saying that, all last week did a bunch of stuff that I wasn't supposed to, like physically, because like I do, right?
Mhm.
Up to including the weekend. But I will say this, like power washing is good for the soul, right? Just it was hot on Sunday, right? It got up into the mid 80s. Like we're in that weird part of the spring where we're going to have a couple really hot days and it'll get cooler again, kind of vacillate back and forth. So yesterday afternoon, after I had to babysit some renters at the lodge, I'm like, you know what? It's 80 plus degrees outside. It's the perfect time to fucking power wash because you get soaked while you're doing it, right?
Mhm.
So if I'm going to be wet, I might as well be warm.
That's
And-
what she said.
Did she say it? Nope, she didn't say it.
No.
She's shaking her head no.
No.
But yeah, there's just something so meditative about using the power washer. Like, so we had the trees, the big trees taken out of the house, right? So basically we have no big trees at all. But it was covering a part of the house that never really saw sunlight before. So now it's just kind of like, like side of the house. So like all the dirt and everything that's been on there, like you can see it now.
Right.
So, and I've power washed it before, but it never really, like, you couldn't really see that it was clean. So just on there. And, it was a few hours of just getting soaked. However, it was worth it. It's just gratifying.
I mean, I offered to let you do our house too, but
like I said, after I power wash the deck before we seal it, then you're more than welcome to borrow it, and you can have your own Zen moment with the power washer.
yeah, I'm gonna have to.
I'll
Like
tell you.
when we bought this house 6 years ago, the home inspector's like, yeah, you should probably power wash this and repaint it. Like, yeah, I'll get to it.
Yep.
I haven't gotten to it.
Yeah, it's good for you.
Yep.
Just be ready for being wet, really wet.
All right.
And honestly, that's it. I really was just busy.
All
Didn't
right.
get to do anything fun. Hardly played any zombies, which is fucking shocking. We did have the NFL draft over the
Oh, that's right.
weekend.
Yeah, I sent you the text the next day. Who the fuck is Trey Lance?
Yeah. All I'm going to say about the draft is that the Eagles did nothing to make me excited.
Yeah.
At all, especially late. Like the first draft pick was like, okay, all right, that's a very non-risky pick.
Was that the first receiver taken?
No,
That guy? No. Okay.
I think he was the third receiver taken.
Jesus, didn't they pick 12th? I know there were like fucking 5 quarterbacks. In the
Then it
top.
bumped up to 10th. So yeah, there was some weird, goofy trading with Dallas and everything else. But anyway, like for me, the fucking draft did nothing to prove that the Eagles are not a dumpster fire. So I'm keeping my expectations extremely low.
Fair enough.
Oh, and the other thing I have to mention, before we get to Kristen's week,
Uh-huh.
the fantasy hockey.
Oh, that's right.
Right. So we don't. I made it to the quarterfinals, I guess, in the fantasy hockey league. I had no idea we were in the playoffs.
Right.
This is fantasy hockey. Definitely not my favorite thing. Luna Girl's been killing it, right?
Yeah.
So as we sit here right now, and this is the final week, and Luna Girl it's Grogu's mom versus Pete's Primo team.
And who's Pete's Primo?
I don't remember.
All right, I'll try to pull it
You
up.
should look it up. But yeah, so Grogu's mom's in the finals, so I would 100%. Sorry, Pete, but we're gonna support our podcast family.
So my Yahoo Fantasy app needs to update, and I don't have enough storage space on my phone to update it.
Well, I guess we're not gonna find out then. But Pete's Primo team and Grogu's mom are going for the championship.
All right. Well, since I don't know who Pete's team is, good luck, Luna Girl.
Yeah. Like
Hopefully you win.
But thank you for playing.
Yes.
And it's been an experiment of what are we not going to do going forward.
Right.
This is one of those things
Yeah.
that we're not going to do going forward. It's not fun.
Yeah, I don't mind trying to find something else to go along with our fantasy football that we do every year, but fantasy hockey ain't it.
Yeah, it's not. It's just not. It's not for us.
Yeah.
Sorry, Canadians. We tried.
Yeah.
Honest.
But again, you're fucked, as you Canadians always are for whatever reason. But anyway,
Aren't they standing at the border right now? Like I don't know. You see these random Facebook things. They're like, Canadians are standing at the border like in duress. They're like, "Come help us! We're in a police state." It's
Canadians?
yeah, apparently. I
Think,
don't know.
think they're in a police state?
I don't know. I'm just telling you what fucking the Facebook says.
All I know about Canada is the free healthcare. That's literally the only fact about Canada that I know, and the fact that a lot of them speak French for some stupid reason.
I mean, we're not going to. We shouldn't get into that.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, special guest.
I don't have anything that happened this week. I've been spending this whole time thinking, what did I do this week? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
She went to
I
work.
went to work
Yeah.
5 times.
Burned your foot.
I burned my foot. That's not even interesting to me. So
What'd you burn your foot on?
it was like a gigantic bucket of boiling water that came down all over my foot and it like melted my sock to my foot.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Was this at work?
Yeah. That was yesterday. Yeah.
Was it a cotton sock or was it like?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't like some plastic that
No,
would have really done some real damage to your skin.
I mean, it hurt, but the worst part was walking around in wet shoes. Honestly,
Fair enough.
But that's it. That's the most exciting thing that's happened to me in a week, and that's not even exciting. So, other than the movies that we watched,
Yep.
Do you talk about the one that came before that? What was the one that came before?
Yeah, Showgirls.
We talked.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Okay.
Yeah, classic movie.
No,
Elizabeth Berkley, top-notch acting. Do you have anything to say about that?
no, I do not. I don't want to think about that movie ever again.
I don't blame you.
Whatever. I liked it. All right, moving on then. Are we ready to get to our main topic?
Yes.
All right, so anybody need a break before we carry on?
I'm
No?
good.
All right, we'll just interrupt the main topic halfway through, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's their thing. That's what we do.
So,
I can get ice whenever.
okay.
Just so you know.
So, fabulous Las Vegas is this week's topic. And again, Kristen and I are going next week. Dave is gracious enough to drive us to the airport on Sunday night. And
Yes. Remind me about that.
And so we figured we'd get into a little bit of the history of Vegas, kind of talk about some personal stories. And I think as we go along and we just talk about some of these facts of Vegas, we'll mix in personal stories. And then by the end, if there's any stories we've missed, because I've got a lot, I've got like a whole page of stories myself.
Right.
We'll talk about the rest of them at the end. So Las Vegas, we got most of these facts from this History Channel documentary that I pulled up on YouTube. You go onto YouTube and you search like the history of Las Vegas, and it immediately comes up with this. Modern Marvels was the title of the
which is initially odd because you think modern marvels, you think like the Hoover Dam as a modern marvel, not necessarily the city of Las Vegas.
Right.
And not to mention the fact that the word modern should not be anywhere near the title of that documentary.
Well,
Yeah,
because
true.
the documentary itself is from like 1998, but most of the facts and the stuff that came from it is all still relevant today. Though I don't know how much has changed in Vegas over the last, say, 10 to 12 years.
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you think what's happened with the economy at that point. So if the video is what, 1998, you said?
Yeah.
Even in 1998, they were wearing clothes like that. Like some of those clothes were just like, whoa.
Oh, yeah. Like that woman that they kept interviewing. She had like the thick coat of makeup on. And I think she had the shoulder pads.
She was the former mayor of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah. She looked like she was part of a show.
Right.
So it was 23 years old.
Yeah.
So you had a major economic downturn, at some point, which had huge effects on what happened in Vegas with the real estate.
Oh, yeah.
Because you figure when we watch the video, like the Luxor was brand new, the Excalibur was brand new, like that stuff. And I don't know, since I've been there, and we'll probably talk about it, but since I've been back, like I can tell you when we've been there when Vegas was in its like prime, and then going there after the after the mid 2000s and kind of looking at it and like things were a little ratty.
Yeah. And well, I can tell you for me, the last time I was there was 2008. In fact, the last time I was there was on election night of 2008.
Oh, you were there for that?
Yeah. So the night Barack Obama was elected president for the first time, I was actually playing blackjack at the at Planet Hollywood with a guy that we used to fly with, Mike Glover, black man. And we were playing blackjack together when the results came out, because they had screens all over the fucking casino. and it was announced that Obama was going to win the presidency. And Mike looked over at me and he's like, "Dude, I never would have imagined this happening in my lifetime." And I was in again the fucking Planet Hollywood casino playing blackjack when the announcement came that he was going to win the presidency.
That's crazy.
So,
08 was the last time you were there?
that was the last time. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, actually,
You had to have gotten
no.
since
There
08.
was one other time. I think there was one other time, maybe 2 years after that,
Uh-huh.
because we initially weren't even going to stay in Vegas, but I think we changed the end of the trip at the last minute, and we stayed at Circus just so we could afford, the government rate, because that was the thing about us traveling all the time, was wherever we stayed, they had to give us the government rate.
Yep.
Or we couldn't stay there, right? Or we had to pay out of pocket.
Right.
And I think there was this one time where it's like, okay, we could stop in Arizona or we could stop in Vegas, but we would have to negotiate with the hotel. And if it is over the government rate, we'd have to pay out of pocket. And I think that's what happened the last time that I went to Vegas. We all went to Circus, and I think we actually ended up paying like $10 each out of pocket per night.
Yeah, which is nothing.
Yeah.
Are we gonna talk about the Flamingo as like part of the history? Because probably one of the I still can't believe that even 2010 was the last time you were in Vegas, because I feel like we went there a lot.
As a squadron, we did, but I
Yeah.
think I was only on a couple of those trips.
So one time on one of the trips, we had 2 nights in Vegas, and we got the government rate at the Flamingo.
Okay.
And it was by far the greatest hotel room that I've had in the United States.
Really?
It was fucking enormous.
Well, and yeah, because the Flamingo is on my list of things to talk about. Well, first of all, the movie that we watched with Elvis, Viva Las Vegas, took place at the Flamingo. It was filmed at the Flamingo,
Right.
which it's seen many different changes and upgrades since that movie in, what was it, 60 something, 64. But yeah, the Flamingo was originally built in 1945. There's a whole history behind that thing. They go into it in that documentary.
Yeah, and the Flamingo is like kind of one of the originals that's really still around.
Right.
And the room that I had for the government rate, and we're talking, this room cost me $45 a night.
Mm-hmm.
Like didn't cost me anything because the government was paying for it.
Right.
But I had this enormous room, and when you kind of came up out of the elevator, you think how wide the Flamingo is. Like on the strip, you think how big the Flamingo is, right? So I come out into this hallway, and there's like 4 doors in the entire hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I go to one of those doors, and it opens up into a living room, right? Full up living room with a bar, like not like a half bar, not like a fucking bar cart. A bar is in this fucking room.
Nice.
Right. Giant TV, which weren't as common like then, because this was probably like 2009, 2010.
Sure.
And what it had the windows over on the one side, and then I was like, okay, well, let me go into this other room, right? Go into the next room, and it's like this kind of like a sitting room, like almost like in between like the main master bedroom, which was also probably as big as this studio is, this other room. And then you go into another door, and it fucking opens up into this like gigantic fucking bedroom.
Jesus.
Right. And with windows all the way down the side. The most interesting part about this bathroom, the most interesting part about the room was the bathroom, because it spanned the entire length of the fucking room. So you could literally go in this bathroom and have 3 different areas to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. 2 different showers, and it was the first hotel room I ever stayed in that had a TV behind the mirror. So like you actually have the TV on behind the fucking shower mirror.
That's funny.
And it was insane. It was insane.
So
for
was this like
$45 a night?
Now, was that a special room that you just like happened to get a good rate for? Like a room that they normally charge like hundreds of dollars a night to one of the plebs on the streets?
Yeah. And we just like, so there's an art to this, right? there's an art to going in and kind of working on the front desk. And we had the advantage as radio operators. You know, we would go into a lot of these places, and we would be the first people calling in. Like we worked in the planning shop too. Both of us, Jason did. Yep. Jason and I did. And we actually would be making the initial phone calls for a lot of like getting rooms and stuff. And then during the trip, we would start working on other things like, hey, let's see what our other options are. Like, let's make sure we're getting non-A's. And if we get non-A's or non-availability, which means that if we landed at the Air Force Base, that we can't stay there because it's full. And I'd say half the time we didn't even go to the base. We landed at McCarran.
Oh yeah, because it's right there. Like the
yeah.
McCarran Airport, you can see the strip. Like the Luxor's like right there.
Yep.
From the fucking airport.
And so you'd start working on that stuff. And so you developed a rapport with how to work the front desk and how to work a concierge. And so I worked on upgrade as part of my thing. And that was the fucking upgrade.
Nice.
So yeah, but we've had it too, like where it's been the luck of the draw, right? Where you just happen to get the fucking right room. Oh, it's Kate. Should we answer?
Go for it.
Hey, Kate, you're on the podcast.
What?
You're on the podcast.
Can you not put me on speaker, please?
We're live right now. Can it wait till later?
Well, I kind of want to go to the emergency room.
If you want to step outside and take that, we can keep the show going.
Oh my God. What did you do?
So while Dave is doing that, this is going to be the Kristen and Jason show for a few minutes.
Hey.
So we're going to get into a little bit of the history of Vegas because we both watched that History Channel documentary together, right? So talking about the history of Vegas, it started off as just a rail stop between, I think they said Los Angeles and Salt Lake City. This was back in 1931 or before 1931. It was nothing but a stop, like a little settlement just along the way, probably just so people could get off and stretch and refuel and whatnot. But then, of course, construction started on the Hoover Dam. And that was really what drove Vegas into prominence. Because it took thousands of workers to work on the Hoover Dam, which, by the way, the Hoover Dam, if you just look at it, pictures, videos, it doesn't even look real. Like, I wonder how the fuck did they actually do that? You talk about engineering marvels. The Hoover Dam looks spectacular, though I've never been there in person. That is one place that we're planning on going when we go to Vegas. But yeah, they started construction on the Hoover Dam in 31. And what I say, it took about 5 years for them to finish. So yeah, 5 years. And while people were there, they had to settle, they had to build homes, and they wanted to spend their money somewhere. That same year that the Hoover Dam construction started, Nevada legalized gambling. So with the combination of Nevada legalizing gambling and the construction of the Hoover Dam starting, Vegas became a thing. More than just like, one little blip on the map as a rail stop in the middle of nowhere, which that's the funniest thing, by the way. So when you and I went there, we drove from California to Vegas, because this is one of the weirdest things that you'll notice. And I remember this because I've done the drive several times being from California, but you're driving through like mountains and then nothing, like desert forever.
That's literally my only memory of that trip.
Yeah.
Is the drive, is how beautiful it was, because it was a gorgeous day.
Mhm.
And then we went through the Tehachapi Mountains, which I'd never been through.
Mhm.
And it was just gorgeous. And I love the desert. And we just drove, and there was nothing to see for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
you come over a hill,
hill.
And then you look down and boom, there's all the lights of Vegas. Yeah, it's such a unique sight because you're literally driving for hours and not seeing shit. And then all of a sudden you come over this crest and there's Vegas in front of you. Like
it just dropped from the sky.
Yeah. Very, very cool. So, but yeah, once the construction of the dam started, thousands of workers flooded in, and people started to realize, like, okay, maybe we can do something with this and we can build on this. And what they initially started doing was going with an Old West theme, because they're like, people think of, because again, this was back in like the 30s and 40s. So people are thinking, okay, Nevada, California, Old West, gold miners, all that stuff, saloons, casinos, we'll go horses. So we'll go with that theme. And that's what Vegas was for many years. It was, like an Old West
Like
kind
a
of
parody kind of thing, like a way to experience the Old West.
right, exactly. So and that's the niche that they went for, because they're like, well, fuck, again, it took a long time for things to progress to where they are now. But yeah, it wasn't until the 40s with the Flamingo, like what Dave was talking about. The Flamingo was the first hotel casino that got built that was, they tried to get away from the Old West theme style, and they're like, no, we want to be more like Hollywood nightclub kind of a vibe. We want to bring in entertainers. We want this to be a little bit more sophisticated than people just coming to a fucking dude ranch.
Right.
So that's kind of where the progression started, to go from this Old West, gold mining cowboy theme to, all right, let's kind of modernize this. And
I thought that they had that Vegas had like a mob tie, like
oh
which
yeah,
they really didn't go into. They didn't mention it at all.
Well,
Did they?
it was the Bugsy Siegel.
Yeah, but I thought that it was that there was some kind of history. I mean, I know there's a mob museum there,
yeah.
but
Well, I'm sorry. Bronco Fed in the chat is like, fuck Salt Lake City. I'm like, where did that come from?
I don't know.
holding on to that a while. Just
I know.
waiting for somebody to say Salt Lake City.
Yeah, we make sure you get close to the mic. I got message traffic. Yeah, so Bugsy Siegel, I think, was the one that they decided to talk about. I'm sure there's a lot of, like, when you have one mobster in town running stuff, there's probably going to be a lot of other ones. And, movies like Casino.
Oh, yeah. That was one that we didn't get a chance to watch, but I would have if we had had the time.
Yeah, Casino, that's a good movie.
It was.
It's a really good movie. It's brutal, but it's a good fucking movie.
Yeah, when they beat somebody to death with baseball bats at the end.
Spoilers.
Yeah,
it's a mob movie, so you can pretty much assume something like that's going to happen, especially in that time frame.
Yeah. But yeah, Bugsy Siegel, for some reason, I was under the impression that he kind of helped found Las Vegas, which wasn't really true, which I think they kind of led you to believe in the movie Bugsy, if you remember, from the like late 80s, early 90s, with fucking Warren Beatty and Annette Bening. No, nobody?
Vaguely.
Yeah. But no, he kind of took over the Flamingo, because as the Flamingo was being built, they had these big aspirations, but the initial builder, entrepreneur guy, he ran out of money. So Bugsy Siegel rolled in with some money from investors,
otherwise known as ripping off the mob.
Right. And he ended up finishing it. But because they didn't have a quick enough return on their money, they fucking killed him. Yep. Like they gunned him down in his Hollywood home.
Yep.
Within, I think it was 6 to 9 months after the Flamingo was open, because they weren't, reaping the benefits yet of the money he invested.
Well, obviously, I mean, if you piss off the mob enough, like, it doesn't matter what your ROI is. You're right. At some point, you're like, you know what? We're finding an excuse to fucking shoot you in the face. So this happens to be it. Bang.
Yeah. So that was more than likely the straw that broke the camel's back, even though in this documentary, they made it seem like that's the only reason why he was killed, was because he floundered all this money on the Flamingo hotel casino.
Is modern Marvels. Like, we're still getting to the modern part of this modern Marvel.
Right.
We'll actually get there. This one.
But and this was again 1945, but this was the start of the self-contained resorts within Las Vegas, because now that's what you'll see. Like you have all these hotel, casino, resorts all popping up, and with the intent of you book yourself for a week at the Mirage or the Bellagio or the MGM Grand, and that's kind of where you stay. That's what they hope anyway.
Right.
Is that you stay within that facility and you spend all your money there, gambling, seeing shows, doing whatever.
Right. Which I can't imagine just doing that. Like, there's so much in Vegas that, like, just to go out and walk around and see.
Well, I can tell you my father does that. He has his preferred casino that he goes to, because again, he lives in California. Right. They make the trip to Vegas several times a year, and he stays in his one hotel every single time. He gets all kinds of compensation and stuff. He only gambles there. He only eats there. Only does whatever there.
Yeah. And when we talk about the Atlantic City thing, my in-laws have their preferred, casinos as well. Although they'll bounce around depending on what they have. But as far as comps and stuff like that go, they're really cognizant of, what they're collecting. again, getting a return on their investment.
Oh, of course, sure. So sticking in the 40s, something that this documentary brought up that we blew our fucking minds was the atomic picnics
Yeah.
that they sold. Like, I had no idea this was a thing. Obviously, like, World War II was already over, but I guess we were still doing atomic bomb tests in the fucking deserts of Nevada, and they were making it a tourist stop. Like, they were opening it up, posting schedules, being like, hey, if you want to see the next fucking atomic bomb testing, go to this place at this time, and you'll fucking see the goddamn mushroom cloud and all that.
Would you do it?
No!
I would.
I mean, I guess if you were safe, if there was if there was a guarantee you wouldn't like have any fucking radiation shit going on, and if you had the proper eye protection, because I think that was a big thing, was you had to have like the right fucking goggles on so you could watch it.
So they gave him a box lunch and the fucking goggles.
Yeah.
And they sent him out there.
And it's like, oh, go watch us fucking detonate atomic bombs in the desert.
I would totally do it.
It's like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, I had no idea that was a thing.
I would totally do it. And in fact is, I think I brought it up, but my dad had given me a piece of, it's called, what the fuck is it called? But there's the first atomic test created like in the sand, it created like this rock formation from like basically the heat of the atomic blast. I think it was
like fused a bunch of rocks together and shit.
Like trinite or something like that. Fuck. Anyway, but yeah, I would like that idea of seeing a nuclear bomb go off is something that I'd want to see. I don't like, as we sit here right now, knowing full well what the repercussions would be, I'd still do it.
Yeah,
I'd still fucking do it.
It's just, it blows my mind that was actually a tourist attraction, basically. Like they were selling hotel rooms that you could see the fucking blast from the fucking hotel room.
Listen, they were making houses with materials that would give you cancer at that time. Everything had asbestos in it. Everything, like all of the stuff that they came out with during the war, this fireproof material. Hey, it's fireproof. Hey, cigarettes are good for you. Oh, let's talk about cigarettes and how good for you cigarettes are. Right? You get radio ads for. Like they didn't know. They had no idea. Like all right, as long as they don't blow up,
right,
or melt, then they should be fine. Fuck them. Right? I totally get it.
Yeah, but no, I literally had no idea that was a thing until we watched this documentary.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, they used to sit there and watch the atomic blast. Meanwhile, back at the strip, and we're all like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
you're just gonna breeze over this.
I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
That's normal or something?
I'm with you. I had never heard of that before until watching this documentary, and I would totally do it.
Yeah, no, and I did some research afterwards. I'm like, all right, was this documentary full of shit? But no, like if you Google it on on your Google machine,
right?
Yeah, there's all kinds of hits about how they used to do this shit for a long time back then.
That's spectacular.
Yeah.
Vickers is with me. He'd
do it too.
Yeah.
Bring the kids.
Dutch
bring the kids. Pack a lunch. Fuck it.
I'd bring my son. I don't know if I'd bring my daughter. I'd be a little worried about that.
Yeah, you wanted to have kids, right?
Yeah, exactly. Kids that don't have tails.
Right. So
that don't have tails still.
Yeah.
Anyway, what?
After all the mob shit, because they kind of breezed over it in this documentary, but there's a pretty strong ties to the mob in Vegas and it being real seedy, right? Prostitution, fucking gambling, the mob, all this sort of, not so pure stuff going on. And it wasn't until the 60s and 70s when they started trying to class it up a little bit. And it started with Caesar's Palace opening up in 66. So some fucking billionaire builder came up and decided to do this whole fucking theme. Right. And this was the start of the themed hotel and casinos, because we talked about starting with the Flamingo, it was those self-contained resorts, but now they're starting to do themes, right? And Caesar's Palace was the first one, which are you going to go into your issue with the apostrophe S?
Stupid line. They're like, we didn't do Caesars with an apostrophe because everyone's a Caesar. It belongs to everyone. I'm like, then you still need an apostrophe. It'd just be in a different spot.
Yeah, that's look. I attributed that to like an architect, like saying, "Oh, look, see, you're giving me opportunity to talk about why I did this thing, so I'm going to tell you." Nobody gives a fuck. I never paid attention to that at all.
Yeah. I never would have thought about it, and now we're never staying there.
well,
I'm going to give you a better reason not to stay there.
Go ahead.
Do you have something?
Oh, I've got some Caesar's Palace stories, but go ahead with yours.
So we went out. I'm just gonna tell this story now.
Sure.
Like, so we back in 2014, I went in my phone and looked at it. Back in 2014, we had over 4th of July week. We're like, okay, we're gonna go Space A.
We is in you and your
the
family.
whole family.
Okay.
Right. Me, Kathy, and the kids. Jeff was, I don't know, a junior in high school, I think, at the time. Like the kids. So the kids are obviously older, and I think Kate was a freshman. So we're like, look, the plan was we're gonna fly Space A into Germany and kick around in Germany, go to Germany, go to Paris, and then come back Space A, right? That was the plan, right? So I did everything. Like, I'm saving euros, I'm doing all this shit, right? Buying euros off of guys that just come back from there to get ready for this. Well, so the best availability for Space A was down in Baltimore. So we drive down to Baltimore, park in the lot, go in, do the whole Space A thing, right? What I didn't know about Space A, and again, this was pretty late in my fucking career.
Yeah, and really quick, before we go any further, for you non-military types, Space A is called Space Available. It's for any military flight. If you're a current active duty or a retiree, you can hop on a military flight that's going wherever across the country if they have space available.
Correct.
Hence, Space A.
Yes.
Carry on.
So what we didn't understand was, and I took my leave, I put in my leave and got my leave number about a month early, right? Because I'm thinking, you know what, I want to, in order to put in, you can put your name on the list, like you can work Facebook and look at, okay, here's the flight listing. So I'm going to get on this list for this particular flight. I'm thinking I have a month. Fucking perfect, right? Was not nearly enough. Because apparently, since everyone has off for the 4th of July, that's when everybody wants to fucking go Space A. So its precedence is based on your leave number when you put the thing in. So since mine wasn't as, people had put it in 3 months early. So those first couple of flights that went out of there, we had no chance. We weren't close on the list. And the terminal is packed with people. So we're like, okay, let's regroup. Let's try this again first thing tomorrow morning. See where we're at. We're still on the list, right? Just, you slide up on the list as people go. I'm looked at the flights. All right, we're gonna get a room. Got an Embassy Suites there in by the airport there in Baltimore. Woke up in the morning, drive there, sitting around. It's obvious we're not going to make the next Space A. So we're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to spend my entire vacation waiting to try and go somewhere. Let's see where the flights are. Let's just fucking go. We've already got the car in parking, right? Because we didn't drive again to, once we went to the hotel, we're like, fuck it. Let's go to Vegas. So we got tickets. We made arrangements. We have friends that live in Palmdale. So look, we'll fly into Vegas, spend a couple days there, then we'll drive to Palmdale, hang out with them, go to LA, do a West Coast thing. We didn't tell anybody, right? We didn't tell anybody that we weren't going to fucking Germany. So when we ended up in Vegas, there's a picture on Facebook of us, me, wife, and the kids with the Eiffel Tower from the Paris in the background.
I remember that. I remember when you posted that back in 14.
Yeah. So it was oh wow, yeah, that's amazing. But there's some astute people that picked it up.
Yeah.
Right. That have been to Vegas and seen it. So in order to make the experience, as we're waiting for our Southwest flight, I'm like, all right, well, let's see what we can get hotel wise. Try to go on base. They had nothing available for non-TUI. So I'm like, well, you can get into Caesar's Palace. I think that'd be cool, right? Because the Hangover movie, and I'd never stayed at Caesar's. I'd only been through the lobby and everything.
Sure.
It's oh, cool. We'll stay at Caesar's Palace. It'll be neat. So we get there, get the rental car, drive up to Caesar's Palace. Kids are all amazed and shit because they've seen Vegas or they've seen Atlantic City, but Vegas is a completely different animal.
Oh yeah, completely. And we were going to get there when we got to New Jersey legalizing gambling, but
yeah. So we get into Caesar's Palace and I go over and I work the concierge, because we had done a hotels.com deal to get into Caesar's Palace for pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked on the concierge and we got an upgrade to this, a junior suite. So we'd have more room for the kids to be in a separate spot so we could have our privacy or whatever. that fucking like, so going to those rooms, like you think, all right, Caesar Palace, we're going to be staying in this one area. You know, there's like these 2 huge towers that are back behind all the fucking flashy shit, right?
Mhm.
So as you're going to those towers, there's a fucking smell. I'm like, what is this fucking smell? Like, it smelled like the sewage was backed up, like it was the sewer gases.
Ugh.
And as you're walking, like, because this documentary, it talks about Caesar Palace, talks about the shops and the forum and all that shit, right? And to get to all those places, you're walking through this like cesspool. I'm like, this is fucking gross. I'm like, oh, maybe it's just an issue. Maybe they're having an issue. It'll work itself out, whatever.
Sure.
Every fucking time we went by, I think we spent 3 nights there. Every time we went, no, 2 nights. But every time it was just like fucking like death walking
Really?
through it. And when you looked out, like, because, you know, we were in one of the upper floors in this nice room and it looked out over the pools and everything. When you went down to like the pools and stuff, it was pretty, you know, it was like, okay, this was built in fucking 1966, you know,
Yeah.
you could tell.
Yeah.
And granted, a lot of Vegas is well kept, like, but
Sure.
you could tell that some stuff had a little bit of fucking datedness to it.
Mm.
And that was one of them. But it was the smell. It was the ungodly smell going back and forth from where the room was. I will never go there again.
That's weird.
It was awful.
Huh.
It was horrific.
Yeah. So the Caesar's Palace stories that I had was the first time I ever went to Vegas. I went on my 21st birthday
Okay.
with my best friend Rob. At the time, he's like, "All right, dude, it's your 21st birthday. You're home on leave. We're going to Vegas." I'm like, "Okay, let's do it." And we stayed at Excalibur, which we'll talk about later. But most of our gambling, we decided to do at Caesars for whatever reason.
Okay.
And, you know, we were big blackjack players. Fucking killed it at the blackjack tables at Caesars the night of my 21st birthday. Like, I was up over $200 kind of thing
Nice.
at like these $5 fucking Caesar's Palace blackjack tables.
Good luck finding a $5 table now.
Oh yeah, no, they don't exist as far as I can tell. But yeah, no, like, had the best fucking luck of my life at the blackjack tables at Caesars, and over the course of like the next day, lost all of it at other fucking casinos playing blackjack. I'm like, fuck. Less than a year later, I ended up going back with work because this was back when I was maintenance on the KC-10s, the same planes that you're working with now.
Yep.
And the fucking tail number is 0080. I don't know if you guys still have that, but fuck that fucking plane.
Yeah, I think so.
I just got a missed call from a 314 area code.
I don't know.
One from Kentucky.
Fucking spam. Anyway,
I'm getting messages that says her mic is either off or she's only being picked up on your mic.
Uh-oh.
okay. We'll just do. And you'll just have to talk really loud.
I'm not a loud talker though.
All right. Anyway, so the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah. So then I went back with work when we had a plane breakdown there, and I was working on the number 2 engine. We had all kinds of sensor issues, and we were there for like 3 days. The first night I was there, I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to Caesars. And I went to Caesars and I was up again. I was up like 110, 120 bucks. And then I lost it all again at other casinos. I'm like, fuck. So the only time I've ever had any good luck at gambling was playing blackjack at fucking Caesars. So like the 2 or 3 times that I've gone.
That's funny.
Yeah. So that's my Caesar's Palace stories in a nutshell. And of course, The Hangover, like you said, that's where the whole movie kind of takes place, or a good portion of it is, you know, they're staying at Caesars, which I don't even know. Like when they go up to the villa in that, I'm pretty sure that was like a green screen, that fucking window that overlooked the strip that like was fucking amazing.
No, I 100% believe that's there. In fact, I may have a picture that I took that I think might have represented that spot.
Oh, really?
Hang on, I'll look for that while we're talking.
All right. So, but yeah, I've had really, really good luck gambling at Caesars. No good luck gambling anywhere else, pretty much.
Ironic. I don't think this is it because it's the only, like, I have a picture that's like the pools and stuff.
Ooh.
That was our view from that room.
That's pretty awesome.
There was a nice room, but the smell. Fucking yeah, it's funny. You talk about gambling. I didn't gamble a whole lot in Vegas.
No.
It was just not like drinking. Yes, like gambling, like seriously gambling. The only time I can say that I really did it, I was on the old strip,
Okay.
on Fremont Street.
Yeah.
Because cheaper to gamble.
Right.
Anything you did on the strip, there was this markup, and there's a couple of gambling halls. Like there's one. I think it's at the base of the Flamingo. It's near that Irish bar. It's like I think it says cheapest blackjack tables or something. There's always people. Like, dragging in there. But it's like near Margaritaville, like where the Flamingo's at, across from Caesars.
Oh, which by the way, I mentioned Margaritaville and she like cringed. I'm like, hey, they've got a Margaritaville at the Flamingo, and she's like, ugh.
Nope.
Yeah, so the coolest thing about that Margaritaville is it has a plane in there.
Mhm.
It was like it's a mock-up of one of the planes Jimmy Buffett had. That's it.
Oh.
End of story. Like it's not worth. It's not worth spending the money to eat there. I mean, because it's a Margaritaville. It is what it is. But yeah, as far as gambling goes, it was so expensive. It was cheaper to drink in Vegas than it was to on the strip,
right?
Than it was to gamble. So I would drink.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. And like after that work trip that I went on, where I won a lot at Caesars and then I lost my ass afterwards, I'm like, I don't know if gambling's really for me. And ever since then, I don't really gamble that much in Vegas. I'll play a couple of hands at blackjack, like when I was playing at Planet Hollywood with Mike Glover on election night. I was playing it was a $10 table. I got up like $30. I'm like, that's it, I'm out, and I walked away like up $30. So I'm like, you know what? I know the way this goes. You play long enough and the house always wins. So
sidebar, what is so blackjack's your game?
It was, because I know how to play it pretty well.
Yeah.
But going into this next trip, I've told Kristen that I want to learn how to play craps and I want to play Pai Gow. Those are the two games that I want to play the most on this next trip.
I can't help you with Pai Gow, but craps is definitely, to me, craps is the game that's the most fun. That's
what I hear. And that's why I told Kristen, like, we both need to learn how to play craps and just like spend, part of a day at a craps table.
Just download an app and play. And I'll give you some pointers offline.
Sure.
But one of the things that we did was me and Tim Kennedy, actually. These aren't the real names.
Right. We changed them to protect the innocent.
Because we're smart like that. But we bought like a Hoyle's craps, or it was like Hoyle's Casino for the PC, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we used that to teach us how to play craps. So what we would do is down at the Redneck Riviera, we would go and play blackjack and get ahead on blackjack at a cheap table, and then go play craps to get it like figured out. So this actually bore fruit. Like, again, this is in Vegas, but when we were in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, they had a floating casino, and the craps table there, we won a fuck ton of money. Like I won a bunch of, local currency to turn into dollars. It was enough. Like we bought the bunk bed for Jeff. Like it immediately turned into revenue that was, we actually were able to use. But the table is so much fucking fun, because that's what craps is. Like when you're walking into a casino and you hear like a lot of commotion, like somebody's winning, that's the craps table.
Right.
Like 9 times out of 10, it's the craps table. So if you go over there and kind of see what people are doing, and if you can get in on a table like that while it's like energetic, you're going to win. You're going to win for a little bit anyway.
Yeah.
And then you just have to it's about putting the money in your pocket. Like you take it off the table, you put it in your pocket. So that way, whatever's on the table is what you're gambling with. And if whatever's on top of that, it goes in your pocket.
Right.
So on Fremont Street, Tim and I were playing craps, and we got on a good table. And it was a hot table, won a bunch of money. He won a bunch of money. I got to a point where I was good, and then I just drank because they kept bringing drinks over, right? But the table we were on it for like 3 hours.
Damn.
It was like it wasn't the Gold Nugget, it was the one next to the Gold Nugget. Whatever. I can't think
the one with the cowboy.
It might have been.
Yeah.
But I have the chips from it. But yeah, craps table is it's the most fun.
Yeah.
You know, blackjack's like more of a skill thing. It's like, okay, how am I going to do against the house here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and am I smart enough to not let this fucktard next to me ruin it? Because that's the problem with blackjack. If somebody next to you fucking doesn't play it right, it could fuck up the entire thing.
And the dealer's showing 6 and everybody's still hitting. It's like, no, what are you doing?
Like, there's rules. Like you get some fucking noobs that say, I don't know what I'm doing. They're like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Cash me out because they're gonna fuck up the whole thing.
Yeah.
But with a craps table, it's either like building, like you can tell. You just get on it and there's just energy, and so you do your little bit of betting here. You know, don't get too far out there. And you start working the table over, and as the rolls happen, like in Buenos Aires, I rolled 5s for like 45 minutes. And there was a local, like all I kept doing was rolling 5s, like nonstop, and without crapping out. And this dude, this local, kept putting money on hard 5s.
Yeah.
And I'd be hitting. And he just, every time, it would turn into this fucking celebration, like, hugging. He was like hugging me and shit. It was fucking great. But it's the most fun that you're going to have gambling. But Fremont Street is the place to do that because you can get on a cheaper table.
Right. That's what I hear. Because I was looking at the strip prices. There's some like Paigao, cheapest table is $25 tables.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
I don't know shit about Paigao.
It's actually fairly simple. My dad taught me how to play the last time I was in California, and it's fairly simple. Paigao is the place where if you want to go and you want to spend 6 hours in a single spot and not win or lose much money, but just like get to like milk the free drinks, Paigao is the game you play.
Huh.
Because 9 times out of 10, you're pushing with the dealer. And then every once in a while, it's either a win the dealer's way or your way. So
that sounds awful.
Yeah. But apparently that was my grandfather's way to play.
Vacation too long.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. But so anyway, 1966, Caesar's Palace. The next big event in Vegas history was when Howard Hughes, the billionaire, rolled in and got involved in the Corporate Gaming Act of 1969. So up to this point, any casino that got a gaming license had to be an individual, right? It couldn't be a corporation.
Right.
It had to be an individual entrepreneur who had the capital to build these fucking hotel casinos and then get his own personal gaming license.
Yeah. And so you can see how the mafia would have an influence in this. Mafia had capital.
Right. So, but in 69, they passed a law where now corporations could get their own licenses. And that's when Vegas really opened up. That's when you saw fucking Hilton and all these other fucking corporations roll in, build their own fucking hotel casinos.
Right.
And, not have to be tied to a single person to get the license and everything else. And that's really when Vegas started to change into what we know it as today. So, and then right after that, though, was in 76 was when Atlantic City got its gambling license, I guess, or when New Jersey legalized gambling.
Right.
And I know there was a lot of concern in Vegas, like, fuck, this other state now is legalizing gambling. They're going to open up all these casinos in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and it's going to be competition.
So what's interesting is as we sit here right now, right, in 2021, there are casinos everywhere.
Yeah.
Like as you're going, if you're driving cross country, you're going to find casinos on Indian reservations. You're going to find random like river casinos. Like one of the neat things about Biloxi, Mississippi, and that Redneck Riviera was the fact that they had casinos, but they couldn't be on shore.
Right.
So they built these piers where it was like, 100 yards out into the water, so that would not be on land.
And then Hurricane Katrina
happened, and it turned all of those things into empty shoeboxes strewn across Highway 98. But yeah, this day and age, like especially in this area, because AC used to be the thing, right?
Yeah.
And now you have gambling right outside the stadiums in Philly. right? They just opened a casino there.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. The Live. If you go over the Waltman Bridge, you'll go past it. There's a tower there. It used to be the Holiday Inn. They wrecked that and they put a fucking casino in there. And actually the view's better now. You don't have this ugly ass Holiday Inn in the middle of the view from the stadium. But yeah, so there's like 3 big hotels or casinos in Philly, and then you have Chester. So you have this competition that's like right across the bridge. So if you have like my in-laws who that's their form of entertainment, they gamble and they'll go to like, okay, we don't feel like driving all the way to AC. We're going to go to Chester, which honestly is probably about the same amount of time, but you could very easily go from my house to get to someplace to gamble. It's a 15-minute drive, like with stoplights. Then you can be over the bridge and gamble.
Wait, by the way, the chat is now organizing an Atlantic City meetup. So
hey,
our
look,
Michigan folks, our Pennsylvania folks, they're all talking about meeting up in Atlantic City at some point.
Vegas.
well, so I think we talked about this when we had the Galactic Refugee guys up, right? But they were going to try and squeeze Atlantic City into their itinerary, which we just didn't have time. Just didn't have time. AC has its.
See, I've only been there a couple of times. I've been to the convention center a couple of times, and I've been once to an actual hotel casino that you and I went to together with your dad. It was okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's not Vegas.
No.
So, and I would have been one of those people that, like, you know, grew up in this area and I'm a shore guy in Atlantic City I would have like, how can Vegas be any better than this? And then I got to Vegas for the first time, like, oh yeah, fuck AC.
Yeah.
Like for gambling and shit, for sure. Yeah. Like you can't
go
back.
Entertainment and everything. There's so much more going on in Vegas.
And Vegas is expanding, and they get new stuff all the time, and AC just sits there.
Yeah, and it's gotten worse over the years too.
It's not going
like
the right
casinos
direction.
have gone under, and
well, and there was a lot of speculative stuff that happened in Atlantic City. You know, the mob influence that Vegas had. Vegas went legitimate, I think, sooner than AC did.
Yeah.
I think AC was under the same pretenses, like when it started up with kind of mafia money, and you had places like the Taj Mahal and the Showboat, which, by the way, my brother-in-law, like he works in one of the casinos down there, and he lives in AC. He lives in the Showboat. Because they closed the casino, right?
Oh.
And a developer bought the building and turned it into apartments.
No shit.
Yeah. So he's in a super nice apartment at the Showboat.
Used to be a hotel fucking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's a way to kind of, you know, he works at the Hard Rock that's there, which the Hard Rock does well. Yeah, and there's a bunch of casino names that are there. Like there's a Caesars that's there, and AC had made its mark. It was a legitimate competitor for Vegas, especially for people that wanted to leave New York City and end up in AC.
Yeah, I remember in the 80s, it was pretty big, the 80s and early 90s. But it's like just kind of fallen off ever since.
Housing market, like when the housing market crashed, I think in like the 2000s is when shit took a dive, because all the speculative real estate shit that was happening in AC really killed a lot of that industry off.
Yeah.
So I think what you're happy, like for AC, and I think somewhat in Vegas too, like Vegas is kind of a self-licking ice cream cone because it's Vegas, right? But AC doesn't necessarily have that benefit. So they've had to, like, yeah, you're getting a lot of these places that are closed. Like they're leveling a bunch of stuff, but the things that are there are now going to get better. Like the comedy acts are coming back, like the shows and stuff like that are starting to, like, you know, the bigger names are starting to look at AC as a place like, okay, this is a place we can go now.
Yeah.
So
especially if this COVID shit ever ends.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. My brother-in-law didn't miss a day of work during this whole COVID thing, so take that for what it is.
Yeah, indeed. So, 1975, Circus Circus.
The year I was born.
Yeah. Circus Circus opens in Las Vegas. This is where they started to focus more on family entertainment, where they really started getting away from the, you know, it's all about the blow, the hookers, the gambling, and the mob, and it's more about like family entertainment.
Right.
So, and I've got stories about Circus Circus, not directly myself, but again, my best friend Rob growing up, I've talked about him a lot. His parents were big Vegas people. They'd go to Vegas a couple times a year, and he'd like stay with me while they were in Vegas, or sometimes they'd start to take him as we got older, as we got into our like early teens.
Right.
And they'd always stay at Circus Circus because there were like arcades there.
Mhm.
It was a big draw for kids.
Yep.
And he would come home with all kinds of like fucking Circus gear. Like I remember he had like a hat, like a matching fucking shirt from Circus Circus, and it was awesome. And I'd always hear these stories about how there was like this just incredible arcade there, and it was a lot of fun for kids. So that was the beginning of Vegas really becoming a family destination.
Yeah. Have you ever been there?
Yes, I've stayed there at least twice. Because
Okay.
you and I stayed there for a day.
Yep.
And then I stayed there again with that time that we were flying around, and it's like, okay, we can stay in Vegas at Circus Circus and only have to pay like $5-10 out of pocket, or we can go to middle of nowhere Arizona. And we're like, Vegas.
Yeah.
So, but again, we had to stay at Circus Circus. That was the only problem.
Yeah. I've not heard good things
Yeah.
about like even the first times I went there. Like we went the first time I went to Vegas, and I wish I could put a date on it, because I've been there a bunch of times, but it couldn't actually give you a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and a lot of it's not on my phone, so forget it. If it's not my phone, I don't have it as a memory.
Right.
Excuse me. But we went to Circus Circus. We were staying at one of the hotels on the Strip, and we went to Circus Circus for apparently the breakfast buffet was like the best on the Strip. That's what we were told, and it was good. Right? We're like, okay, there's a lot of fucking kids,
Again.
obviously.
Yeah.
But we were only in there for the buffet. So one of the next times I went, I was like, oh, I want to go to the Circus Circus to get the buffet, right? Went there again, garbage. Like the place was hot garbage.
Really?
I was like really, really disappointed, because we were staying in like, where were we staying? I forget where we were staying, but we were on the Strip, and we walked all the way the fuck there. Which, by the by, that's a hell of a fucking walk.
Oh, I'm going to get into the walk at the Strip as we get going. But did you have anything about Circus Circus? You kind of...
I remember nothing about it. No, you just said, I went with you, and so I was just...
Okay.
What
But
the
you
hell?
don't remember us staying there?
Not really.
Because this was in 2002. We stayed like one night at Circus Circus, and then we stayed another night at the Riviera with like 3 other dudes.
I don't remember that either.
So, yeah, the only time she's been, she doesn't remember anything,
I was
apparently.
pregnant and didn't know.
Well, she didn't know she was pregnant, so
Oh.
you probably drank alcohol that.
I had one sip, and
Okay.
that was that.
All right, well, now we know why Rob's all fucked up. So, sorry, bro. My son Rob, not my best friend Rob. But regardless, yeah, no, my 2 experiences with Circus Circus as a hotel room kind of sucked. And
Yeah.
probably because it was built in 75, it was built for families, and probably hasn't had much upkeep. Which, by the way, one of the first things that they mentioned in that documentary, which I thought was really interesting, was these hotels, they're not monuments. Like, when they become outdated, we'll fucking tear them down. We don't care how iconic they are right now.
Yep.
They're always on the chopping block,
Yep.
basically.
Yeah,
And
they're not interested in like, 2,000 years from now when they're looking at these buildings. No, they're not meant to survive that long.
Right. Yeah. They don't care about preservation or anything like that. They're
No.
like, if there's this plot of land here and there's this old casino that used to be popular, but now it's shit, we have no reservations about fucking tearing it down.
Yeah, like when they blew up the dunes,
Yeah.
it was like, all right, fuck it. Wynn wanted to put something there, so then they fired off the cannon from the Treasure Island show.
Yeah. Which was, of course, leave it to Vegas to do some fucking spectacle
Oh, yeah.
like that.
Absolutely.
Where they plan it so they fire a cannon from Treasure Island and it blows up the fucking dunes.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Treasure Island, I think, here in a
Yeah,
second.
well, and that's the next thing that I have in my notes is Steve Wynn, the billionaire, rolled in, and he created the Mirage, Treasure Island, the Bellagio, and then, of course, the Wynn, all in Las Vegas over the course of a decade. He also was the force behind the Beau Rivage in Biloxi, Mississippi, which
Right.
I've also been to.
Yep. Right off the exit there, getting off
Yeah,
I-10.
yeah, right there at the fucking intersection where
Yeah.
all the shit's going on. The Beau Rivage is right there.
And it's the only one that survived Katrina, too.
Right.
They actually were able to open back up.
Yeah, because I think the location was beneficial.
Yeah, it was closer to land.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
sister actually got there because that's where her tech school was for weather.
Oh,
And
okay.
she actually, the Beau Rivage, like post Katrina, and was able to go into the Beau Rivage being open.
What was the boat one? down in Mississippi. It was like a long pier and then an actual boat.
Treasure Bay, I think it was called.
Yeah, that motherfucker was gone.
Oh yeah,
after Katrina.
Well, while we're on this sidebar, I was on, in the unit, we did these flights
my unit
where we went. No, we were doing these low levels. Like this is post Katrina, before that other hurricane had come in. Because remember, it was kind of a back-to-back thing. There was another massive storm.
Oh, that's right.
It wasn't as big as Katrina, but it was another big storm. So we actually flew down the coast nonstop, then did low levels like over the beach there. And I had, obviously spent so much time there because, our initial tech school and radio operator school, like everything was there for me. So looking out the window and knowing that beach line so well, and to see it the way it was, all those casinos, like the Presidential, like all those that were out in the water, you saw them without the facade, because the facade was completely ripped off. So what it was this like I described, like a shoebox. So you see this like empty shoebox like strewn across fucking 98. Yeah. Like it was just that, to me, like I gambled so much in that boat casino. Was one of the best ones because I had the cheapest fucking blackjack tables.
I remember that, yeah.
So to be in those places for so long and see them completely wiped off the face of the earth like that was when Katrina really hit me. Like, because we overflew New Orleans or whatever, and it sucked because fucking we were getting the shit kicked out of us, honestly. But then when we flew back over, and it was it proved that, like, down there, this facade of this casino really comes down to, here's this box that we built to hold the fucking gambling in, and then we'll build all the shit around it, and that shit can all go. Like, you can take all the shit off the whatever's going on here, and it's the same thing in Vegas. Like, it's all facade.
Yeah,
that they're willing to fucking wipe off the face of the earth if they need to.
Yeah, which is crazy because you think about some of the more iconic hotels that still exist right now, like the Luxor, which I know you don't have many good things to say about it, but we'll get into it as we go. Even things like New York, Excalibur, those all can go at a whim if they decide, all right, this either isn't making enough money or these hotels are run down too much and we're ready to fucking tear them down and build something new.
Yeah, put something else up.
Yeah, or even the Stratosphere, which we're going to talk about a little bit.
Yeah.
That's all stuff that's on the chopping block at any time.
Do you think they're going to knock it down before we get there?
No. So, and we'll talk about it. But before we get any farther, I think this is a good time for a break.
Okay.
Because reasons. Hold on.
I want to laminate that so bad. He won't let me.
I think it would, without the crinkling, I don't think it would.
That is
have
true.
the same.
And again, this has been like, I made this in fucking Texas, I think. I was at the Air Force Inns in Texas. So whatever. But anyway, we got to take a break because I got to piss. So we will finish this discussion after this word from our sponsors.
What was all that?
Putting on my shoes. I took my shoes off. It's hot.
These shorts are really high right now.
Would you stop?
There will be no singing of Viva Las Vegas. Yeah.
Viva Las Vegas.
There wasn't going to be any.
Oh my God.
I gotta get through.
Can you not dry hump her while we're here in the studio? Jesus. Yeah, the Air Force Inn notepad. So the original I have to pee sign. No, that's not the original one. I think we had one in studio before, and then he made the travel edition of the I have to pee sign. And the Air Force Inns that I'm not singing. First of all, I don't know the words to Viva Las Vegas.
We only know Viva Las Vegas.
Wait, isn't it Bright Light Cities? Gonna set my soul on fire.
See, I wanted to laminate the sign and then put it on like a piece of wood, like the Roadrunner and the Coyote, like holding up a sign.
Oh, that would be bad. Things would happen. I could see me hitting him with it. I I could see it like banging into the microphone as he's trying to get it because like half of the fucking fun is like trying to scroll, jump around for the sign. Well, he's going to take the tank top. No, I don't want to touch it. I really don't. I'm fine as long as it stays on fucking Michigan Vader. Well, Michigan Vader's pretty well accessorized right now.
He's put on a lot of muscle. That thing is probably even more tight, even more skimpy. Even
don't tell him.
Stretched.
Don't tell him that because that will.
Sorry.
That is indeed what she said.
I hope that came through on video.
I'm sure it did. I'm gonna pee.
What were you talking about?
Nothing.
You.
We have video evidence. I can just go back and watch. What is this? What the hell is this?
That is. Just put it right there.
I don't know if he'll be able to see it.
You don't think?
If it's for him to see, then you want to put it like right here.
No, put it like right by the hinge. No, on your mic.
Hold on.
No, hurry. You're wasting time. Right there. No, to the other side.
Hmm?
Yeah, right there. Make sure it's right there.
Just so you guys can see.
I had that in my house. I didn't even have to buy that special.
That's right there. I think right there is going to be better.
He's gonna notice it right away.
Right? All right.
Welcome to this edition of Dave's going to drink an entire 2-liter bottle of Diet Coke.
Nice.
Could you pass the gigantic thing of Twix? No, not the. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you.
Oh, that's good. Do you need help?
Like a
Yes.
box.
What's in the box?
Twix, apparently.
Have you ever used cardboard before?
Here, take another one out. I may need one post show. Delicious Twix. Oh, it's a right one. Is there a left one in there?
What?
You want to switch?
Is it left?
Yes.
Thank you.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
There's really a left and a right?
There's 2 lefts in here.
I wanted the right one because that way I can be on the left. So.
There's a whole fucking ad campaign for Twix that involves the left and right. Like it's been a thing for years.
You would have to watch commercials to know anything about that.
Apparently not, because I don't watch television. And yet I know this is a thing.
All right. We ready to get started?
Probably not.
Oh, hold on.
These are good. They're really weak though.
I told
Is
you
it?
that. I told you that in the fucking store.
Bright light city's gonna set my soul. I need the lyrics for fucking Viva Las Vegas.
Set my soul on fire. There's a whole lot of money that's ready to burn. So get those stakes up high.
There you go.
How do you know that?
There's 1,000 pretty women all waiting out there.
You know why I know the
They
lyrics to
were
this
all
song
living
or have an idea of
Devil may
it?
care.
ZZ Top.
I'm just a devil with the love to spare.
Viva Las Vegas. Yeah, that was ZZ Top did a cover of that.
Yeah, it was actually really good.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
It was
I-
a really good
I know
version of the song.
All right, we're ready. Viva Las Vegas.
I'm gonna keep this open, and our neighbors will just have to hear us do the show. Because it's fucking hot.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Wasn't that a male impotency commercial? What for
What?
Twix?
What? I don't know what's going
I
on.
want to drink what Luna Girl's drinking. All right, ready? Go.
And we're back.
Wow.
Oh my
That
god.
was- That was 15 seconds of watching Jason and Kristen try not to explode in laughter.
We got jokesters here in the studio today.
Uh-huh.
So
That was fucking good.
oh my god. Anyway, let's finish up with some of this history of Vegas before we get into more personal stories. Some of the bigger stuff that happened after Steve Wynn rolled in and brought in all his casinos was the opening of Excalibur in 1990, which was pretty big for me because, like I said, the very first time I ever went to Vegas, I stayed in Excalibur. Medieval fucking King Arthur type theme.
Yeah.
Really, really cool setting. Again, this was 90 though. This was 31 years ago. And I think the one time that I went back after I stayed there initially on my 21st birthday, it's kind of gone to shit too.
Yeah. Again, I'd make this a association with the buffets, right? So one of the first few times I went into Vegas, like the Excalibur, like the family buffet, the big one.
Yeah, they were known for their buffet.
Yeah, really good prime rib, like just a really good buffet. So I went there a couple times and like had a really good experience, buffet experience. And then when we went back, and it was reasonable too. That was a big thing. Like it's not only finding a good buffet, but it's finding one that's actually reasonably priced.
Yeah, I think it was like 20s, like 29
Yeah.
or some shit like that.
Yeah, it was less than $30.
Yeah.
So it was cheap and it was really, really good. And then the buffet, I think when we went in 14 was good, but the surrounding, like you could tell, like from when I first went to there in the early 2000s to 2014, it's like they never changed a light bulb out. You know,
Right.
it was very AC-esque with kind of the way it was.
Yeah.
And they had, honestly, from a kid's perspective, like they had the like horse show. There's almost like a medieval times thing in there, right?
Mhm.
They had like arcade stuff too. Not as big as the one in Circus, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
there's a big arcade set up in New York, that kind of like playing on the boardwalk type thing.
Mhm.
So I remember all that stuff being there, but yeah, it was just not as fresh
Yeah.
as you would hope.
Yep.
Which is what I'll say about the Luxor as well.
Right, and that's the next one that opened up was the Luxor in 93, which I've stayed there twice now.
Huh.
I was actually pretty impressed with the layout and the structure of the Luxor because it's, again, in that big pyramid. And especially if you're in a room, like on a higher floor, when you go up to your fucking room, there's nothing but a balcony and it's a hollowed out pyramid.
Yeah.
So you go up to your room and you're looking down the balcony, all you see is the whole hotel casino below you.
Yep.
And it's fucking wild the way that the inside is structured.
I wanted, so I was excited the first time or the only time I stayed there. I was like excited because I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be so cool. Like, because I've only ever seen it from the outside. Like I'd never been in it before. So we, checked in and went through the whole process. So what happened for me was the elevator. Like the elevator was like really so it's already weird.
It goes
elevator.
at the angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's obviously some challenges with that. And in 1993, I'm sure it worked fucking great. But that elevator sounded like it was ready to fucking just fall completely out of the fucking ceiling. I'm not nearly as twitchy, or I wasn't as twitchy then as I am now.
Right.
So the idea, and plus we used to drink before we got off the jet, right? So this is back before they changed that rule. So while they were gassing up the jet, we were gassing up ourselves. And
you could talk to the John about me pre-gaming before we ever left the jet on one trip. So
we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was I already had the pregame going and everything else. And getting in this fucking elevator that sounded like, and I was up in one of the upper floors. I think I was like the fourth floor from the top.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, but it was way up there.
Yeah.
And that elevator was just like, oh fuck. And then when I got in the room, and it was really musty. It was like there was water damage in there, right? Like it had, you go to one of those cheap hotels down the shore that basically lets ocean air in all the time. So like everything's got that like dampness to it. And that's what my room was like. And the fucking hot water didn't work. Like, so the whole experience, like the room experience was not great.
Right.
Now, architecturally, it was interesting. It was. I agree. Like it was pretty fucking cool. But that, and then the outside, they talk about in the documentary how the Luxor was like the special black glass and everything else. Like it was fucking filthy. Like it was covered in fucking sand. So
like the
outside was. So it like they decided to stop cleaning the fucking shit on the outside. So much so when I went to look out the window, because I was on the McCarran side, I'm like, cool, I'll be able to fucking look out and see the MGM and everything else. I could barely see out the fucking window at all.
Wow.
Like it didn't almost let any light through because it was so dirty. So my experience in there was like, I will not, like, they're obviously not putting any money into this fucking hotel.
Sure. So one of the times I stayed at the Luxor, and if you think about the Strip, the context of the Strip, the Luxor is at the very end of it. That's the last thing on that end of the fucking Strip, the north end of the Strip. Like that, you think about like the beginning and end of the Strip. On one end, you have the Luxor. On the other end, you have the Stratosphere. Right. Those are like the two complete start and finish of the Strip. I was staying at the Luxor once when I was a boom operator on the KC-10s. Me and another guy I was there with, he had never been to Vegas, and he wanted to see everything. So we decided, and I think this was about halfway down the Strip, we decided to walk the whole fucking length of the Strip. We left from the Luxor, and we ended up over the course of that whole fucking day walking to the fucking Stratosphere and then turning around and coming back like 6 miles, I think, one way. And
I had no idea the Strip was that.
Yeah, 6 miles one way from the Luxor to the Stratosphere, I think. And it's not just a straight walk either, because the way the sidewalks are and everything else, like they force you to go through other casinos as you're going along. So it's not just like you get on the sidewalk and you just fucking walk along the street. There are times when the sidewalk forces you to go into a certain thing, and we're going to see that next week when we do that. But yeah, me and this other guy, nicest guy in the world, super gay, like the gayest man you'll ever meet in your life. But this was a Obama pre-elimination of don't ask, don't tell. So, everybody knew, but nobody asked. And nicest guy in the world, who ended up actually moving to Vegas. Like when I met him, we were both boom operators, like as traditional guardsmen. He worked at a casino in Atlantic City. He was a blackjack dealer, I think. And he and I went to Vegas together. We were on this trip with like 2 or 3 airplanes. And, we did the whole thing. We walked the Strip completely and had a great time. And he ended up transferring to Vegas.
That's cool.
So yeah, last I heard was, he left the squadron we were in. He transferred to the unit down there at Nellis Air Force Base. And he got a full-time job working at one of the casinos in Vegas. So, but yeah, that walk from the fucking Luxor to the Stratosphere, that is a hell of a walk. Now, I don't know if you and I are going to do that ourselves.
We are not.
But I mean, I do plan on while we're there, because we're at the Bellagio, which was kind of like right in the middle of the Strip.
Yeah.
So I would imagine most of the time we're going to be walking wherever we're going, even though we do have a rental car. But like, let's say we're there and we decide we want to go to the buffet at the Excalibur. I would imagine we're going to walk.
No.
Are we doing this right now? Is this what we're doing?
We're going to have a car and it's going to be 100 degrees.
It's not going to be 100 degrees. It'll be in the 80s, maybe 90s. Anyway, so we'll walk to most places that we go, but we're not going to do that full walk from the Luxor to the fucking Stratosphere, which, by the way, the Stratosphere is the first day of our vacation. That is the Monday that we get there. Did we buy tickets for the Stratosphere? Or
we have bought the tickets, yes.
Okay, sidebar. Kristen has made this incredible spreadsheet.
Yes.
So once we decided we were going to Vegas, like you love your spreadsheets, and she has made this fucking phenomenal spreadsheet that's got all of the things we wanted. It's broken down by day, like all of the things we want to do each day any reservations that we have and any reservations that we need, reservation numbers that we have.
Mhm.
It's got the flight numbers. It's got the rental car reservation
It's
number.
got every day broken down by meals and time of day
Yeah.
to see the itinerary. And the best part is there's a link for a Google Maps that where everything that's been mentioned in the spreadsheet is on the map. So
Yeah.
you can see where everything is in relation to everything else.
Yeah, so it's a very well planned out fucking.
And the day's weather for every day.
Oh yeah. She just started populating that like
Yeah.
a day or two ago.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's a very detailed spreadsheet, and the Stratosphere is actually the first day for us.
Yeah.
We're going to a comedy club or a comedy show that's at the Stratosphere Hotel and Casino. So it's supposed to be like I don't know, like what, 3 or 4 comedians all doing sets.
Yes.
And
something like that.
Right. And before that, we have reservations to go on the rides of the Stratosphere, which again, Stratosphere is fucking 800 feet in the air. There's the observation deck, very similar to like your observation decks of like the Empire State Building or, you know, any other
Space
like
Needle and
space.
that.
Yeah. All that kind of stuff. But then built on top of that are 4 thrill rides, which we briefly talked about on previous episodes of the show. There's a free fall ride that goes up and down the fucking needle of the Stratosphere. There is that coaster ride that basically makes you feel like you're about to just like fall right off the edge of the fucking Stratosphere and then stops and pulls you back.
Nope.
I
There's
have tickets for that, Dave. I have tickets for that.
there's the fucking spinny thing that like it's an arm that extends out over the edge of the building and then just fucking spins you while you're
Tilts
looking
you forward.
Yeah, it tilts you forward so you're looking straight down. And then there's the one where you just jump off the fucking side, which I'm gonna do.
We
But
don't have tickets for that yet. Just so you know.
no, but we can buy them the same day. But that's fine. So, but yeah, that's day 1 of Vegas for us is the Stratosphere, and then the comedy club afterwards.
Where are you staying?
We're staying at the Bellagio,
Okay.
but you know we have you missed Kristen's spreadsheet of glory and everything. So yeah, she's got it all broken down. It's very well planned out. But
Note the countdown timer at the top.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but it's a very well organized plan for what our week is going to look like, but it's going to start with the Stratosphere.
Mhm.
And you know, I've been watching a lot of these YouTube videos of the rides and everything, and it gives me anxiety just watching these YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to do it because it's going to be fun as hell. So
Sorry. I'm looking at the
So while we're talking about it, what else are we doing show wise? We're seeing we decided not to see Carrot Top, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because the only tickets available were like way on the sides of the fucking
Yeah.
theater, like if you were at a movie theater and you got the fucking end seats,
Yeah.
and we're like, nah, fuck that.
Carrot Top is a hot ticket.
He is, but the availability just wasn't there for when we're going to be there.
Have you done Blue Man Group?
They're not playing right now. A lot of shows are closed.
Yeah,
are they?
because of
Yeah.
COVID, like
there's
there's
no Cirque du Soleil.
no Celine Dion.
No Celine Dion.
I don't think Britney's even playing either, is she?
No, Brittany's too busy making Instagram videos or TikToks
Facts.
or whatever.
Did you know Paula Abdul actually is playing at the, what did we say, the Flamingo?
Really?
Yes, the Flamingo.
Yeah, Paula Abdul has a show at the Flamingo.
That would be fascinating.
Straight up now, tell me, do you really want to love me forever?
Oh. I would love to go and see her just to see how fucking drunk she would be on this. Right? So you saw her like with the American Idol stuff. Like she obviously was inebriated.
Sure.
And to fucking I just looked at Bronco Fett's thing. Is why you joined the Army instead of the Air Force. I don't understand why.
Yeah, I missed the rest of that conversation.
Anyway, yeah, the fucking I forget.
Paula Abdul drunk.
Oh yeah, drunk. Fucking I think it would be fantastic. She'd obviously get fucking liquored up every night.
Yeah. What else do we have planned as far as like shows or entertainment for our trip?
Those are the only 2 shows, I'm pretty sure. Let me see. We are going to the Hoover Dam.
Damn.
Exactly.
Damn.
We are going to the Neon Museum.
Mhm.
We are going to do the zip line on Fremont Street.
Yes. like Fremont Street, the old strip.
Yeah.
They now have that overhang where it's like the false sky, but there's also a zip line that goes down the whole fucking Fremont Street. We're doing that. We already have tickets booked for it.
Oh, I was gonna say that's probably something you need to make sure you get in advance.
Oh yeah,
so I've heard people get stuck in line for hours.
Yeah. No, we already booked our tickets. Do we have a specific time for that?
Let me check the spreadsheet.
I'll tell you what. The first time I went on Fremont Street, and I was mesmerized by that overhead, like the overhead, because they had they were playing American Pie, like so when I first got out of the cab, right, and I'm walking.
I love that movie.
Walking into like that whole area, like I think we're next to the Golden Nugget, like where the cab dropped us off. And so I step into it and it's playing the music. And obviously we had already been drinking on the strip, and then we decided to go to the old strip.
Yeah.
And like it's playing the music. And that particular song, like I had a history with these hotel neighbors of mine when I was going through 757 school. They were American Pie was a thing. So every time we came on, we sang it.
Sure.
In its entirety. So I know every single fucking word. So I stood there like a fucking
for like 9.5 minutes.
For like 9.5 minutes singing American Pie. And it had the whole thing was going on the up above us on the screen.
Was it like the fireworks show or
I forget.
It was like a light show to go along with it?
It was like the light thing, and it had like flashes of Americana, like kind of pumping up and everything. It was fucking amazing. Like you would think I was not expecting to go. Like I heard there was an overhang, like so you could walk around on the street regardless of the weather or whatever. Yeah. That's what I was expecting, not to have that be part of the show.
Sure.
Because that was fucking amazing. I was really, really impressed.
Yeah.
By that.
And that's a really cool way that they've kind of preserved, like you said, the old strip, basically.
Yeah.
That Fremont Street used to be the strip. That's where, the Golden Nugget was and all these other fucking famous casinos from, the early days were. But over time, the new strip, which is where like your Mirage, your Treasure Island, your MGM Grand, all those casinos are, the old strip became passe until they started kind of revamping it and reimagining it and bringing people back.
Yeah. And the gambling is cheaper. We alluded to it before. It's cheaper to gamble there.
Yeah.
Drinks are cheaper. It's just it's a better experience. Overall for gambling and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we've got at least a day planned for Fremont Street, if not more.
Yeah.
I don't know. Talking about the shows, like Blue Man Group is definitely one of those. Like, if you haven't seen it, like it has to be like post COVID or whatever. Like, we went to Blue Man Group when we had the kids out there, and it was fucking great. Like, I had zero expectations going to this thing. Like, they wanted to see a show. I had been to Vegas all those times. I never actually went to a show.
Right, because it was always about like, let's go hit the fucking bar, let's go hit the casino,
let's go drink, let's go, do whatever, and then fucking pass out and wake up and go fly an airplane the next day. So when we got to the Blue Man Group thing, I have like, I'm uncomfortable in crowds anyway, and the whole thing was. But the show, the performance itself was fucking great.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad we did that instead of like Cirque du Soleil or something like that. Because I think it would have been a snooze fest. But yeah, Blue Man Group was great. I miss the Treasure Island show.
Oh, the outdoor
like, fucking the pirate ship thing. Like that. I think it was my second time to Vegas. Somebody said, "Hey, have you seen this thing?" I'm like, "No, what the fuck is this?" And we were staying at like we were staying at, I think it's Excalibur. We're staying on that end of the strip. So we go walking all the way to fuck down there. Cause even Treasure Islands, it was a good hike from where we're at. And that fucking thing, that show was amazing. And I tried to get there every single time that I went back to Vegas. I was like, I want to go see that show because it was so well choreographed and so cool how they had the fucking boats moving and diving into the deep water and everything else. It was fucking amazing. It's probably one of my favorite things in Vegas that unfortunately isn't there anymore. I don't know what they replace it with.
Well, I mean, Treasure Island is still there.
Yeah, but that show wasn't there anymore. They did something with the ships. I don't know. You'll have to investigate.
Yeah,
and tell me.
We'll find out.
But that was one of my favorite things.
So I can remember, here's another story from the past, because I remember walking by that once as the show was going on. That same time where I got stuck there on a KC-10 because it was having the number 2 engine issues. they didn't have us staying on the strip. We were staying at some fucking motel, like fucking off the strip. So you know where that intersection where Treasure Island is, and there's a couple other casinos. Well, it was kind of off that side road, and then off of another side road, probably like 3 miles away.
Okay.
Again, I was fucking 21 at the time, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll just walk to the strip from this fucking hotel. And I did during the day when I had some off time. And I can remember at night, I'd been out gambling all fucking night, been drinking and everything else. This was probably midnight, 1 in the morning. And I'm like, all right, got to go back to my motel. I got to fucking go try to fix this fucking plane that's still broke over at the fucking Air Force Base. And I'm walking down the strip. I walk by Treasure Island as the fucking show is going on, right? But then I got to keep walking like, 2.5 miles to this fucking motel that I'm in off the fucking strip. And as the strip is getting farther and farther in my rear view, and I'm like, this might not have been the best idea to just fucking walk out here in the middle of the night, fucking by myself. And I'm walking through these like fucking dirt fields, and I'm walking down this road that's fucking dark as shit. There's no street lights. This dude pulls up behind me in a fucking really nice, like fucking sports car. And he's like, hey man, where are you going? You need a ride? I'm like, no, I'm good. He's like, you sure? You don't want to get in and just come for me? I can take you wherever you want to go. I'm like, no, man, I'm straight. My hotel's like right there, which was a lie. It was still like over a mile down the road.
Right.
But yeah, no, I'm like, that's when I realized, like, fuck, I should not have done this. I should have taken a cab. I took a cab for the rest of the time I was there. But
yeah, there's only but so much like walking that I'd be willing to do off strip.
Yeah.
And it involves 1 block. Like that's the green zone, right? It's okay, here's the strip, and then there's like a block on either side because there's still a bunch of casinos and stuff that they're off strip, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, nope. That's a whole big fucking tall glass of nope.
Yeah.
Going out there.
And again, as I'm walking in this really dark area, I'm like, fuck, I've made a huge mistake.
I've erred.
Yeah. But I didn't get in the car with a guy, so God knows what would have happened to me if I had.
You probably would have
made a friend.
Or I could have been like raped and murdered and left in a ditch.
Your kidneys could have got stolen, or he could have dropped you off at a brothel, and you could have had hookers and blow.
I probably didn't have the money for that though at the time.
Probably not.
But anyway, moving on. So
hookers and blow.
The only other thing that I had as far as like the history of Vegas was New York opening in 1997.
We're still doing history.
Yeah, we're starting to bounce around a little bit, and
it's like we're living in real time, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck you. Who's next?
You listen. You can't have basically anybody that comes on the show, right? Sidebar. Anybody that comes on the show, it's Dave and guest gang up on Jason. That's what
even
happens.
my own wife. Even my own wife.
I'm the best person for that.
Especially your own wife. Who knows better and has to deal with your ass every single day.
It's fair. Yeah.
So yes, of course.
All right.
But if you can't expect to have a guest on here and not expect to get ganged up on, sorry.
Yeah, it's the way it goes, I guess.
I'm waiting for that one time when you actually find somebody that's going to gang up on me. There's people out there that could probably do it.
Yeah, I need to keep looking. So
yeah.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, New York, 97. So 97 was when I turned 21. December of 97. New York opened earlier that day or that year. So when I went to Vegas for the first time after I turned 21, New York was like brand new. I remember walking through it and being like, oh, this is kind of neat. But at the same time, it's another one of those casinos now where I've gone back since, and it's like, it's pretty old now, and it's kind of.
We've also been to the real New York.
True. Which, by the way, in that fucking documentary, that fucking guy is like, oh yeah, we've had people from New York come here and they love it. I'm like, really?
Doubt it.
Do they?
I mean, they're in Vegas, so they have zero expectation. And it's not like it's hey, here's a pound for pound remake in New York. Here's a cartoonistic view of what New York is.
Right.
I'll tell you what I did like about. I actually don't mind New York. Mm-hmm. There's a really good Irish pub there.
Oh yeah.
That has live music and stuff. So that's probably one of my favorite spots.
Okay.
There was what was that? A Coyote Ugly, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that show? It's the girl bartenders that treat you like shit.
That was a movie, but
No, it's a bar. There's a bar. It's like, I think it's Coyote something. Jamie, look that up.
yeah.
Shit.
I mean, you're probably thinking Coyote Ugly because I think there is a chain
There's a chain of bars
Yeah.
that I've been to a couple of them. So they had one of those that was there. They had that failed. I think it failed. It was like Jay-Z and ESPN went in on like an ESPN club that I think that fell under. So it was supposed to be like just a sport, basically a sports club,
right.
that I don't think worked out. But otherwise, I found it to be clean. I found it to be fun. You know, the kid, we brought the kids in there, but our kids were older, so they like were thinking, oh, like this is. We thought they'd have more fun there, but really they had more fun, like kind of seeing the Blue Man Group and the Water Show and the Bellagio and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
They were older than the kids' games in New York,
But not old enough to gamble and all that.
right? But I think the facades inside the place were actually really cool. I didn't hate New York. Like
Okay.
it did to me. It didn't age as poorly as like the Excalibur did.
Right.
But and the Brooklyn Bridge thing I think was pretty cool. Right, that whole aspect of like walking over to Brooklyn Bridge into there. I just thought there were aspects of that. I was like, okay, I get what they're doing here, and I think they did it pretty well. But yeah, that Irish pub that's there is probably one of my favorite places.
Well, then we'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I would imagine Slaughter always did well.
Yeah.
I'll put it on the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be close to it. I mean,
Yeah. So
Bellagio is
I mean,
what, a block away from New York,
yeah.
something like that.
Well, so there's that corner where it's like Excalibur, New York, the MGM Grand are all
Right.
in this like one fucking corner, and then as you start going, you get into like the Mirage, the Bellagio.
Yeah, because Paris
Yep.
is on the other side of the street.
It's also on the it's past
Like-
the Venetian.
The Venetian,
Yeah.
I forgot about the Venetian.
Yeah.
I've stayed at the Paris.
Have you?
Yeah, I was actually out there for a week. Yeah, it was a boondoggle that TK had worked out that I bore
Of
the
course.
benefit of, and that's actually like I flew Kathy out there I was out there for the week, and then flew her out there I think on Thursday.
Mhm.
I skipped out of the conference shit on Friday, and then she was there till we left on Sunday.
Okay.
So got the government to pay for my plane ticket. Just had to pay for hers. And actually, I don't even think we paid for hers. I think she used because my mother-in-law at the time was working for U.S. Air, and I think we used a buddy pass to get her out there.
Sweet.
So yeah, it was fun. It was so much fun having
Yeah.
her come out for a trip like that. And it was at the tail end of like being out there for a week, and I was playing golf and gambling, playing craps, and it's doing all those things, and then having Kathy come at the end after I was kind of already warmed up to the town, like, oh, let's go do this, let's go do that.
Mhm.
So it was fun.
So this is the point in the notes where I have like more personal stories, like anything we weren't able to get to. I've still got a ton of shit.
Yeah.
While we have Kristen here, I want to bring up one thing.
Are you kicking me out later?
No.
I'm not kicking you out at all,
Oh.
but I am putting you on blast a little bit here because Kristen and I met in 97, dated for 3 years
Yeah.
before I separated from the Air Force. This is when I'm like, I'm done with the Air Force. I'm done with the military. Never coming back. We see how that worked out.
Yeah.
But we like I told her, like as I was getting close to my separation, like I'm fucking done. I'm going back to California after all of this. You can come with me, but I'm out, and
It wasn't exactly like that. It was an actual invitation.
no, whatever. But we don't have to get into the details.
Right.
But the one thing that she said was, I ain't going out there just to hang out with my boyfriend. She's like, I want to get fucking married. I want some kind of a commitment from you. I'm like, that's cool. I'm with it. I'm hip. But we had talked about it. We had planned this drive from New Jersey all the way to California. We went from New Jersey down to fucking Orlando. No, past Orlando, wherever your grandparents were at the time.
Yeah, they were in Port St. Lucie.
Yeah, which was past Orlando.
Past Orlando.
Fucking, like, if you've ever driven, sidebar, by the way, through Florida,
Yeah.
like, you get to the border, for the Georgia fucking Florida border, and you're like, oh, we're in Florida. This is great. No, 7 hours later, you're still fucking driving. It's like, what the fuck, man?
This is interesting coming from somebody from California, because that's what you hear California people say. It's like, oh, you're driving for so long, you're still in the state.
Where I came from in California, it was all east and west. There was no north and south. So that was kind of irrelevant. The farthest like I would ever drive, like growing up in California, was 2.5, 3 hours, like south to the Riverside area. But that was it. There was no like going way north, like 5, 6 hours or whatever. So anyway, we digress. So we were planning out this trip again. Kristen very meticulous with her planning of trips, and we had like all of our stops planned out. We stopped at fucking New Orleans. We stopped at fucking Biloxi.
I had a triptychs. Remember the triptychs from AAA, where it was like a notebook, and then you'd follow along with the map. They'd make like personalized maps. Remember that?
Nope.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it was pretty cool.
You would tell them where you were going, and they would like make you a map.
Yeah, in the pre-GPS days, it was pretty awesome.
We didn't. We came from a household that you memorize the route and that's it.
Well, when you're driving across the country, it kind of helps to have stuff like that. Regardless, so we had this whole trip planned out, and we were talking about it, and we're like, why don't we stop in Vegas on our as one of our last stops before California, and why don't we get married while we're there?
Right.
Because we had been talking about getting married. We were technically engaged, and we're like, fuck it, let's stop in Vegas and get married. And she was all for it. And I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. And we'll arrive in California. I'll show up in California with my new wife, and, everything would be cool. Obviously it didn't happen. I've talked about it a lot on the show. My best friend, Rob, growing up, he actually died while we were on that fucking road trip. We were in San Antonio, Texas when we got the word that it happened. So Vegas kind of like fell off. It's like, no, let's just fucking get to California, get there for the wake and the funeral and everything else. And
when I was leaving after the show and you had mentioned it, there was not very much recollection there.
Yeah.
I have no memory of this.
We were going to stop in Vegas and get fucking married.
I do not remember this.
Wow. Granted, this was January of 2000. This was fucking 21 years ago.
Right.
But still, that's when we were going to get married. Not in fucking...
Might not have, though. If that was... Maybe I wasn't going to say yes. I don't know.
Maybe she wasn't sold on it.
Maybe I wasn't convinced.
I don't know, but I feel very insulted the fact that she doesn't fucking remember this whatsoever.
Not even a glimmer of recognition, yeah.
Because that is one of the more well-known things about Vegas is the quick marriages.
I'm not arguing that.
They went into it in The Hangover. It's been a cliche in a lot of movies, TV shows, and everything else that you can go into Vegas and you can literally go to one of these fucking chapels and be like, yeah, me and her want to get married. Can you make that happen tonight? They're like, yeah, just fucking sign this paperwork. Bada bing, bada boom, boom, you're married.
Right. And that's what happens. People go out there to go do that.
Yeah.
Where Kathy and I were kicking around the idea of going out like pre-COVID, going out and we're kind of renewing our vows.
Right.
That in that way. Because it's been 22 years we've been together. So it's like, yeah, it'd be fun, just go and do something like that. But we still might do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a cool thing to do. Like, and so many kids go out there. I would make a bet that more kids get married outside of military bases in the South than people get married on a whim in Vegas. Like,
oh, sure.
There are more dorm marriages happening like in the military across the country than are people going to Vegas just to get married, like getting drunk, hangover style, and fucking getting married to a stripper.
Oh yeah. And I mean, Kristen has no frame of reference for this, but I mean, I know several people that met and got married while we were in our first school in the Air Force, and some of them worked out, most of them didn't. I'd love to see some sort of a statistic of people who get married in Vegas and don't end up staying together.
How many people get annulled in Vegas?
Right.
I'm sure those numbers are out there.
Yeah. I'd be really curious to see those stats.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as more personal stories go, I've got a ton because I grew up in California. I grew up in Southern California. We were a 4-hour drive from Las Vegas. Right. So so many stories of relatives going to Vegas. Like my grandmother, my mom's mom, my grandma Lily would go to Vegas all the time. She always went to Vegas. That we have tons of black and white pictures of her because this is one of the things they used to do back in the day. When you were at Vegas, they'd get a black and white picture of you in front of a fucking slot machine. And we've got so many pictures of my grandma Lily at the Lady Luck Casino, which was just off of Fremont Street. And
That's still there, isn't it?
no, they tore it down and they put up a new casino. I was doing some research because I wanted to go back and like get a picture
When
in
did
front
they
of
tear
it.
it down?
2012, I want to say.
Okay. I
Yeah.
know I saw it
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah, but my
Okay.
grandmother, she used to love to go to the Lady Luck Casino. And like there's so many pictures of there. I remember her telling me, like, oh, I'm going to Vegas this week or this weekend. If I win big, I'll give you some of the money, you know.
Here's my thing. It's a 4-hour drive.
Mhm.
It's not a 4-hour drive like going to places where there's, I don't know, gas stations or other people.
Mhm.
You know, it is a 4-hour drive because that's how when we flew into Vegas, we drove from Vegas to Palmdale,
Mhm.
right? Which is, and then from Palmdale to LA at some point. But like I made that drive, right, in a rental car. And it was not, I felt like if we broke down, that would have been a problem.
Going to
Because-
Palmdale, yes, because that's in sort of a different direction coming from Bakersfield, which is where I'm from. Did you go through Barstow?
I can't remember.
Yeah,
All I know is
Barstow.
I went through a fucking high desert. There wasn't a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For hours.
So coming from Bakersfield, where I'm from, there's a town called Barstow that's about, I don't know, a third of the way there.
Uh-huh.
And then you've also got the town Prim, I think it's called,
We went through Prim.
which is at the state line, the Nevada
Yeah.
California state line, which is where the first casinos are that you'll see.
Yeah.
Which I've been there before.
Yeah, there's fucking bright lights fool you.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, I must be getting close. Look at how bright that is on the horizon, right? And then you pull up and it's like it's fucking Prim.
Yeah, whereas Vegas isn't another hour away, I
Yeah.
think, something like that. But I mean, there are stops along the way. It's just they're few and far between.
Listen, like I said, I fucking made that drive. Fact is, I drove from Palmdale. We had an early morning flight, so I tried to sleep during the day while we were there at my wife's friend's house, and got up, drove through the night, through that fucking high desert, which the stars and shit were fucking amazing. Like that part of it was really cool.
Mm.
But everyone else is passed out in the fucking car, and I'm out in the middle of nowhere, just like, you know, trying to get this Jeep Cherokee to fucking go up yet another fucking mountain. Which, yeah, don't rent a Jeep Cherokee, at least not a 4-cylinder one, because it did not like all those hills.
Okay.
It did not.
Good to know.
Yeah, because you felt like you were going to break down.
Yeah. So there's another story that, you know, you and I eventually did go to Vegas, Kristen, you and I, in 2002
I remember this.
after we left California. So we were in
This actually happened.
Yeah, we were in California for 2 years and we decided to come back to New Jersey. I decided to go back to the military. That whole 2 years was kind of an experiment that, you know, didn't go well, didn't go to plan. So we're coming back and Vegas was our first stop on the way back. And a couple of guys that we had met through this online video game, EverQuest, like I've talked about a little bit here and there. We were big into that game. We met these guys online that were all from California, and they were having this pool tournament in Las Vegas. Apparently, pool tournaments are a big thing in Las Vegas. That's where like all the championship games are. My mother, who is a big pool player, has had like championship games and shit in Las Vegas before.
I believe it.
Yeah, so
Well,
that's
Vegas is known for a lot of stuff like that. Like, you know, the big poker tournament, obviously. The American Ninja thing, like the championships are in Vegas. You know, so they're because it's used to hosting a lot of people, so it's probably a natural place to have something like that.
Sure. Yeah. So we happened to be going through there at the same time that these guys that we knew were having pool tournaments there. And we stayed one day at Circus, and we were kind of on a budget. And we had, I think we hadn't even planned on staying there more than a day, but these guys were like, hey, we've got this other room. You can bunk with us. So we decided to stay. And this was when we stayed at the Riviera. And it was like me, Kristen, and like 3 other guys all in this hotel room at the Riviera.
Like a normal size hotel room.
Yeah, normal size
With
hotel.
beds.
There were cots going on and people
Wow.
sleeping on the floor. It was something. Now, what do you remember from this trip?
Just what you've told me.
So this was also the time where they had a Star Trek, like a whole Star Trek experience
Yes, I remember
at
that.
fuck, what casino was that? Jamie, pull that up. This was in the 90s and early 2000s. There was a Star Trek like whole theme at one of the casinos. Like that was a big thing throughout the whole course of this casino. It was probably fuck, I can't remember. But there was like a whole experience. There was like this walkthrough exhibit that you could do. There was a place where you could eat, where fucking Star Trek characters would come out. The Ferengis came out and fucking harassed Kristen because the Ferengis look down on fucking females.
Right.
And they're like, how could you actually let this woman sit with you and everything else?
That
And
was fun.
they're really berating her and everything. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was great.
I don't have any. I didn't get there.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember because it was a fun experience, but they closed it after
I don't see that.
not long after we were there.
Honestly, that's my I am not a Star Trek fan per se.
Yeah.
So that's probably not something that I was like, okay, I can go and drink cheap booze and do a little gambling, or I could go do a Star Trek thing. Kind of like Dave around that time. Dave was going drinking.
Yeah. No.
That was at the Las Vegas Hilton,
The Hilton.
which is now the Westgate Las Vegas.
Oh,
It was
okay.
Star Trek: The Experience.
Yes, Star Trek: The Experience, which was actually pretty awesome. If you were a Next Generation or Deep Space Nine fan, it was fucking perfect for you. So, yeah, good times.
Unless 7 of 9 was walking around. I mean,
that would have been nice. Or, I mean, I was always a Deanna Troi kind of person.
well,
but,
obviously,
yeah, but
I don't know anything about Star Trek.
right. But yeah, we were already married at that point. We had gotten married in Stockton, California the year before. So,
That is correct.
yeah, we did the whole. We went to
She
the.
remembers that.
Yeah, she remembers the day we got married. Thank God. Thank God she remembers that at least. So, yeah, there was no Vegas wedding for us. But that was the last time you were in Vegas.
The one and only time, yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be a whole new experience for her
It's
next
gonna
week.
That's going to be awesome. And adults with actual like spending money too. Right. I'm not like, you think of the difference, like you as a, like basically as kids being in that situation and now being able to go and do stuff as adults. I think that's what Kathy and I are enjoying the most right now about like being the parents of adult children.
Yeah.
Is going out and doing like things as adults and not be like, okay, here's our 2 nickels that we're rubbing together to make this happen.
Yeah.
Like we can actually plan on doing stuff. Like we're going, I don't know if I'm allowed to say. I better stop before I say something. Any of that. Scratch that. Have that removed. Yeah, you guys are gonna have a blast.
But
It's so much fun.
It was a circus experience, whatever we could afford.
Right.
And now we're like, well, now that we've got, more money than we had then.
Yeah.
And,
I'm rich, bitch.
And the knowledge that we're like halfway, dead. This
Yeah.
maybe the last time we ever go. So what's on our
So
Vegas bucket list?
Wow, that got really dark really
Is
fast.
that wrong?
It's not. I mean, I think about that shit all the time.
You're like, this may
I
be the
try
last
not
time
to.
we ever go.
I really try not to think
I
about
mean,
shit like
your
that.
life is half over, right?
Wow, this just got really, really fucking.
So that being said, yeah, I tried. I was trying to fucking like not. I was trying to avoid the halfway to death.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Fuck, what was I gonna say? It was poignant and really, really funny, and I can't think of it. Fuck, it's gone. It's gone. Fuckers.
So I have another story to tell.
Sure
So I was talking to my mom on the phone last
Do
week.
you want some ice?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Quick break.
Sure. So I was talking to my mom about a week ago, and I was asking her some of her Vegas stories.
About a week ago.
So week ago. So in addition to me going on my 21st birthday, she went for her 21st birthday as well to Las Vegas. she went with my grandmother, my grandma Lily, couple other people. Apparently, she got royally shit-faced that night. I guess she had like fucking, she ended up somehow in a fucking strip club with strippers all over her.
Yeah.
Fucking royally shit-faced to the point where she pulled an all fucking nighter. And the next day with my grandmother, her mother got into this fucking truck, this one fucking row truck. Think of like what were the old Fords that were just like basically a single bench in the fucking truck and then a pickup bed.
Yeah.
The
a bench seat.
Yeah. Like a single bench seat. She was there with 4 people.
Wow.
My grandmother, her, and 2 other family members. 4 hours. Yeah. Well, they got there on her 21st birthday. She pulled a fucking all-nighter, drinking all night, dudes like buying her shots all night. And again, I was already 4 years old at this point. So my question to her was, where was I?
Right.
Who did you leave me with? But no, apparently she had guys fucking buying her shots all night. She had fucking strippers like giving her fucking lap dances all night. And I guess she like didn't go to bed. She was like royally shit-faced, got back to her hotel long enough to fucking gather up all of her stuff and take it back down to the lobby and get into the fucking truck with my grandmother and everybody else. I guess she was fucking puking in the truck. And she said at one point they stopped and her friend just like fucking got into their fucking bikinis and just laid in the back of the fucking pickup truck and rode the rest of the way to fucking California. So that is
a good story.
It is. And that's the thing, man, that being from Southern California, when you're only just like a single shot 3.5, 4 hours from Las Vegas, that's where you go, especially on your 21st birthday.
Yeah,
you know?
That's a great point. You know, I think for us in this area, people will go down to AC for that like a similar type experience, obviously not getting it's not Vegas, but you can go down and have a good time. I mean, we can shit on AC, but AC does have actually some good spots.
Yeah.
We have coronavirus ice cubes.
Wow.
Wow. I don't know if that's gonna.
That's
spectacular. I hope when you bought these
too soon, bro,
that it said like coronavirus.
Oh,
like as part of the thing,
yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. They're so good. I'm gonna have 2. Wow. That's not me.
Wow.
That's fucking
the ice winch cometh with more ice. But
yeah, so I have a story.
Go ahead.
And I think after this story, I want to get into like some best ofs.
Sure.
So my favorite Vegas story does not really involve me at all.
Okay.
Which is probably why it's my favorite.
Okay.
So we had flown into Nellis Air Force Base is the base. It's basically at the end of the strip, right?
Yeah, it's way off. You're several miles away from the strip, and
right? But when you take off, like if you're taking off in that direction, you're basically taking off like with the strip, like on the departure.
Sure.
So we were there just for an overnight, and it was one of those overnights where we had non-A's where we could have stayed downtown. But because it was such a tight turn, it was like one of those fucking 15 plus 15s. So since it was a tight turn and we had a long day the next day, we're like, you know what? We can't stay on base. Let's just stay in one of these little places that's right off the base, right? Which still had gambling. And it was the kind of hotel room that you think it is. Like it's this little shanty of a fucking, it was dollar. They had dollar blackjack in there. Right. And they had poker machines and I don't think they had craps because at the time I wasn't playing craps, but it was dollar blackjack. It was really, really cheap booze. So we're like, cool, we'll just stay here and we'll make the best of it. Right.
Sure.
Maybe take a cab down to the strip, a little bit later if we're feeling froggy. So we get into this place. and it is seedy as it is ridiculous. Like we go in there, like record stopping, like who the fuck are these people, right? It's all filled with locals, and we're just like, and there's I don't know, there's a crew, like we flew 10 deep, so and we had an evaluator from the command was with us because it was given Chuck Brinzer. Again, the names are changed to protect the innocent.
Sure, yeah.
Chuck Brinzer was getting a check ride for his instructor. So we go into this place, and now he's getting his instructor check, right? So his intentions are to fucking be straight-laced. I'm going to go to bed early. I'm going to study, right? All this other shit. Because we don't know the evaluator yet. So we're down there, and we immediately changed the entire flavor of what was going on in that room, right? So when you take 10 people and you insert them into something, there's going to be 3 or 4 people that just they're going to go down, they're going to have a drink, and they're going to go to their rooms, right? Usually they're officers. So that leaves the rest of us to fucking, all right, the adult supervision is gone. Now let's actually enjoy ourselves. So we started to do just that, and we started enjoying ourselves, and we're playing the dollar blackjack, and we're like just making all kinds of noise, and it's really livening up the place. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember a loadmaster, Ziggy?
Yeah. All
right. So there was this loadmaster. He was a fucking Vietnam vet, right? This dude was old. So, and he was with us on this particular flight. He was getting like beyond liquored up, right? So we're watching this. So like Chuck and I are sitting there at one part of the bar, and Ziggy's over there, like working on one of the locals, right? Now, I'm here to tell you that this local was a wildebeest. Like it was horrific.
She looked like a jackal.
It was horrific to look at, and she had like a denture, right? That was like it moved when she was talking. So Ziggy,
I hope that wasn't my grandmother.
It was. I highly doubt it. I don't think she was that old. She just looked that. She was. Look, she was written hard, put away wet. So
could have been.
Could have very maybe. So we're watching this, and we're playing, we're drinking, and like so. Chuck is kind of egging on what's going on over here with Ziggy and the local, right? They're having drinks and they're getting handsy and doing whatever, doing adult things.
Yeah.
And so the denture is like falling out of this broad's mouth. So Chuck says, again, this is Chuck on his check ride. Chuck's like, all right, I got $50 if you two swap dentures. Right. Which prompted the rest of the bar to also fucking throw down on that.
Oh
so
my God.
I forget the number of the actual pot, but it was probably over $500 for them to do this. Because like I said, we changed the entire fucking play. We changed the entire feeling in the fucking bar.
Yeah.
Right. Because we couldn't have all this energy that we would have put into the strip. We couldn't. So it's ending up in this fucking shanty. And so we're egging them on. And finally we get them to fucking do it.
Oh my God.
And so she had a partial, or how did it work? She had a full denture. He only had a partial, right? So when he took hers, she took it, put it in her mouth. It was like just the part, right? And if that wasn't funny enough, just looking at it, just
oh my God,
the idea of it, just the saliva, and just like, I would have rather watched her lick her butthole than fucking perform this fucking act. He since he only had a partial, like she had a full denture, he put it in his mouth, but it was like on top of his other teeth. Yeah. So it was like all this extra fucking teeth.
Like donkey teeth.
Yeah, it was like and we are fucking dying. We're dying. It was the best money we've ever spent in fucking Vegas is making this happen. And it wasn't anywhere near the strip. It was, like I said, we had the energy that we would have taken down to the strip if we had time, but we didn't. So we brought it to this fucking place.
Wow.
And yeah, we would have, I don't even remember the hotel room. I'm not going to lie. But for dollar blackjack, you know, right outside the gate of the base. It was a fucking blast. We had a good time. We enjoyed our 15 hours on the ground there.
Wow.
Yeah, swapping dentures.
Would you do that for $500?
Swap dentures with somebody. Hopefully I never have dentures. So with you, possibly?
No,
No.
a stranger.
No.
A stranger that looks like a wildebeest.
No.
For 500.
And who's
no.
What's the amount? What how much would it have to be?
It had to be in the thousands, multiple thousands.
So like
you say that. But when $500 is like on the bar in front of you, like if Chuck Bridge is going to take money and put it in front of you, like this is your money.
Yeah.
All
Like,
you
do
have
it,
to do is
whore.
Do this thing, right? Believe me, Chuck has got me to do
and you're
fucking
not
shit.
sober either at this point
Yeah.
either. So like 1500.
For me, or would I have to split it with the other person?
You have to split it.
No, well, no. Like anything less than 1,000, no.
So for $1,000.
In this imaginary world where I had dentures, it would have to be over 1,000 for my cut. Yes.
I think we could.
Complete stranger, wildebeest. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Give him another beer and then drop.
Well, and you don't know what it like. Again, he was significantly older than us. Vietnam. He was like an aviator during Vietnam, so it was. There was an age thing there that maybe loosened up some of his whatever. But I mean, he enjoyed, like, he wasn't exactly a looker. We'll just say that. And the interaction, the lead up into this whole thing it was just fucking, it was the best. It was the best. It was one of my favorite Chuck Brinzer stories that I can actually tell in public.
Nice. So I'm actually looking at my notes for like personal stories, and I've gone through everything at this point.
All right, so I want to know. I said my best room. So
All right, so we're talking like best experiences of Vegas at this point.
Room, yes, best experience in Vegas. We're gonna start with the room. What was the best room you had? I already said mine at the Flamingo.
Going back to all the places that I've stayed, Excalibur, Circus, Riviera, Luxor, probably the Luxor, honestly. Even though it wasn't that great, I would imagine next week the Bellagio is going to be a lot better. Like, we paid extra for a good room with a good view, so I would imagine that's going to be the best.
Yeah, if I go back, I want to stay at the Bellagio.
Yeah, but to date, I think the Luxor was probably the best room,
Okay.
and I could nitpick that pretty extensively because we've stayed at some pretty good fucking rooms throughout the course of our careers.
Yeah.
And
well, like I said, best rooms in Vegas.
Right. And I'm saying comparing anything I've stayed in Vegas to anything else doesn't hold a candle. So, but the Luxor is probably the best.
Okay. Like mentioning that the hotels you stayed at, like I came up with the Flamingo, the Paris, like I said, we spent a week there.
Yep.
Luxor, Caesar's Palace, and Tropicana. Tropicana was very home. But
Yeah.
Location was good. All right, so what was the best buffet you had?
The Excalibur. When I went with my friend Rob for my 21st birthday, he's like, dude, you got to try the buffet. It's fucking awesome. We had the buffet 2 nights in a row at Excalibur, and it was great.
Yeah.
And I feel like you and I ate at the Excalibur buffet when we were there in 2002.
I don't remember.
Yeah, and I can't really commit to it either because it's a long fucking time ago.
You eat, like, unless it's something
Yeah.
memorable. I agree. The Excalibur for I just noticed that Tom Brady pin. There's a Tom fucking Brady pin on your mic stand.
That was her when you were out to piss.
Oh my god!
So look at his hair. Look at that hair.
Yeah, look at that hair.
I didn't even have to buy that special. That was in my house.
Oh, I'm sure it was. You took it off of your shrine, your Tom Brady shrine.
Basically.
Anyway,
I'm still waiting for the Eli Manning pop figure to make its appearance.
Yeah, I mean, we threw that gauntlet out to the listeners. I'm certainly not going to purchase an Eli Manning fucking pop. That's never.
I mean, if we only had a hardcore Giants fan in our listening audience who would provide us with an Eli Manning,
she probably would if you
pop
actually
figure.
sent the stuff that we owe her to her.
Anyway, best buffet you were saying?
Excalibur.
Yeah,
I agree. The best, but I'll caveat that with the best seafood buffet.
Mirage.
So for me, it was the Rio.
Okay.
Like that was like,
oh yeah, I heard the Rio was good.
yeah, the Rio. What was really fun about the Rio?
Let me take
is
you to Rio.
It had it had a rum bar, and I was a rum and coke guy, for a long time, and had a Bacardi rum bar, and right on the outside of on the other side of that was the seafood buffet, and it was really cheap and it was reasonable. Going back after that, it got crazy expensive.
Really?
Yeah, like exponentially expensive. So, I mean, I'm sure it's still good, but for the price that we paid to go in there and I'm not like a huge seafood guy, but the shit that they had was fucking delicious.
I like seafood.
I've
always been a big seafood person. So,
and the Rio is a cool place because it's off strip, right? It's a block off.
Mhm.
It's that big purple and fucking pink, kind of like flamingo looking thing on the side. So it's real noticeable even when you're on the strip. And it has that fucking in the ceiling. It has that train thing. It has the show is on the train thing that goes around on the ceiling.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Like I thought that was cool. I just that was one of those places where I think it would be cool to stay.
I think they have their own zip line too. They have a zip line that goes like from the top of their fucking building to the building next door
Oh,
or
no
something
shit.
like that. Yeah.
Oh, I can totally see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Eli Manning won his $300.
Now, did you? God damn.
He's not worth $300.
So, did our mutual friend the John tell you about the tequila bar at the Luxor and his experience there?
Probably.
Yeah. Apparently, there is a high class tequila bar.
Yes.
At the base of the Luxor, where he and our mutual friend Tim,
right,
names have changed to protect the innocent,
right,
each had a $75 shot of tequila. And this was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
He said it was good.
Hey,
would any shot of alcohol be worth $75?
Not without a hand job. I mean, here's your shot of tequila and a complimentary hand job.
Yeah.
I from a woman.
Oh,
sure
whoa.
I'm sure you can get that shot for $75 from another dude, but yeah, no fucking way. No, I'm not a tequila guy anyway. And like Luna Girl says, tequila makes you pregnant. So I avoid tequila at all costs.
Right.
I don't care how fucking high end it is. I've been to a high end tequila bar. Somebody fucking twisted my arm into. In fact, it was Mike Glover.
Oh, okay.
Twisted me into fucking like, oh, here, this is tequila. Like it's better. And it wasn't fucking Cuervo awful.
Right.
It still didn't excite the emotions. It was like, oh, okay, that was tolerable. I don't want any more. Like I'm good. Like, thank you for that $25 shot, but I'm good.
Right.
I'll go ahead and fucking die now. Fuck tequila. Anyway, yeah. Let's move on to the best outdoor show.
I mean, the only outdoor show I know of is Treasure Island. So,
well, I'm classifying this also like you have the Venetian, right? Or you have the gondola ride in the Venetian. You have
right. Ooh, we don't have that scheduled, by the way. Gondola ride.
We have the Venetian on the spreadsheet.
Okay, gotcha.
You have the Bellagio. You have the water show. There's like all of anything that like on the walking tour of the casinos. Even well, it's not really a show, but like at the Paris, like with the Eiffel Tower thing, like there's that external attraction that's like
sure
kind of draws you into it. I'm with you. The Treasure Island one was hands down the best one. I remember the volcano one that they talked about in the
the Mirage.
The Mirage.
Yeah,
I remember that one. But I just remember how fucking hot it was. Like you walk by, I was like, okay, I get it. It's 110 degrees and it's dark.
Right.
I don't need to fucking feel like I'm going to melt any more than I already am.
And that was something I was telling Kristen too before. Like, if we're going to go out walking around on the strip, it needs to be either the early morning hours or after the sun goes down because...
Well, it's I saw the temperatures on your spreadsheet. Good job, by the way. Not terrible. 4th of July weekend?
Yeah.
It's fucking hot.
Probably gets hot.
Well, and to talk about the Hoover Dam a little bit.
Damn.
Damn fine dam. Kate's sneakers. So we drove out there to Hoover Dam, and it's the first time I had been out there. So it was a cool experience for me. And strangely enough, I took more pictures at the dam than I did in Vegas, and in LA, or at Universal or whatever. If that tells you anything.
Sure. Yeah.
Giant nerd. But it was fascinating. We're out there. It was so fucking hot on that concrete that Kate's Converses literally melted. Like, it melted her fucking sneakers.
Holy shit.
It was so fucking hot.
Wow.
It was just like, and look, we've been in the desert. We've been in some of the hottest places on earth.
Mm-hmm.
That was advanced hot, like standing on that concrete. And I'm curious, when you guys go there, I'm curious to see what the water level is. Because when we were there in 2014, it was like record low. The water level was record low there. Right. So like, if you look at the pictures I have, like, you have all this like white limestone, like where the water usually would be, but it's exposed because it's not there. And I've heard it's gotten lower than that. So,
well, I'm
curious how low it actually is.
Back in 2014, that was when the Southwest was having a lot of drought issues and like no precipitation, no snow in the mountains, no nothing. So I know it's gotten better since then. So we'll see.
But yeah, that was like part of like going through the tour we were talking about, like it gotten that low. I'm like, wow, that's fucking scary.
Yeah.
Like, it will, get to low enough where the dam doesn't work anymore. And that's,
I mean, that provides a lot of power for that region. So yeah. Anyway, best outdoor show.
I don't know. No, I don't have any memories of that trip. So
Circus.
Yeah.
I guess the best hotel I've ever been to was Circus.
Better than the Riviera?
I slept on a cot, so yes.
I think we shared a bed. I think the other guys that we were bunking with shared a cot. I don't remember. It was...
You might have shared a bed with another guy.
Yeah,
that's possible.
That wasn't me.
That is possible.
I was on a cot.
Your gun is digging into my hip. All right. So, best indoor environment.
Ooh.
Venetian.
Yeah,
Venetian's pretty amazing.
When it comes to like fucking elegance, evanescence, luxury. Yeah, the Venetian obviously is pretty nice, but I mean, I've always liked Caesar's Palace. You know, besides the fact that I've won the most money gambling there, but I like the ambiance. You know, the whole Roman Empire, that whole thing. I
wasn't impressed with that.
Of course you weren't.
I was honestly, like, it's probably one of the best check-in areas.
Yeah,
I think for me, like from a hotel standpoint, because there's a lot of stuff like you can kind of look at, and the lines actually flowed nicely for how they had this stuff. You know, if you're thinking along those lines, depending on your sobriety.
Right.
For me, it's probably the Bellagio, with the Paris being a close second. Like, the Paris was really, really cool. Like, it's probably the first time I really noticed the sky on the ceiling.
Yeah,
was when I was staying in the Paris. Because when I went to the convention hall, like, you'd go down through the fucking lobby, through all the tables and everything else, and that's the sunness of like that blue sky above you, even though you're indoors. That was it's probably in other places, but I really noticed it there.
Is that an extension of the Venetian? Because I know they're like right there connected to each other, the Paris and the Venetian. Is that like all one kind of complex?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I think it's its own thing.
All right.
I mean, maybe like the convention center part of it might be connected somehow.
Yeah,
I don't know, but yeah, as far as I know, like the table floor and all that stuff, that was, it had this like old style French, like, yeah, like it had that, like the little storefronts and shit like that. And we didn't gamble there because it was too fucking expensive. But yeah, I just remember the sky. I was really taken aback by that. And the Bellagio with the butterflies and everything, and the glass flowers and all that shit.
So honestly, I don't know if I've ever been in the Bellagio myself. Yeah. Like, even though we're going this time, I don't think I've ever been inside.
Awesome.
Yeah, the conservatory is on our list.
Yes, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah. But yeah, I've never been.
All right, best indoor show.
I don't think I've seen many shows, honestly.
I know that I haven't. So
it's been all about the food, the gambling, and just the whole
Drinking.
ambiance.
drinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't think we saw a show in Vegas.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
We couldn't afford to.
I've only ever seen Blue Man Group. Well, I've seen Blue Man Group and the fucking horse show at the Excalibur.
Now, you know what I would love to see, but I don't think he's even playing right now? David Lee Roth has a show in Vegas right now. Yeah.
That would be
Like,
interesting.
David Lee Roth, we talked about Paula Abdul. I know
Right.
you want to see Celine Dion and
Wanna
Britney
see Celine Dion.
Spears. So there's a lot of people I would love to see their shows.
Right.
But with COVID right now and everything else, I don't know how many are actually going.
One. Carrot Top. It's the only one.
Right. Which expensive and shitty seats.
But for
right
an
now.
additional $10, you can do a meet and greet and you get a swag bag.
Do you also get cocaine?
I don't, probably.
All right. So Jamie, or otherwise known as Scott from the Use Abuse podcast, informs us that Lake Mead level as of today, 3 p.m., the water level is at 1,078.86 feet. In 2014, the lowest level was 1,081.82 feet.
Oh, wow. So we're actually lower than the lowest. So we're at the lowest.
Yeah. I'll show you a picture. And actually, Bronco Fett, I think, not Bronco Fett, Big Lovin said, hey, let's in the cantina, in the Sidebar Cantina, if you're not a member, find us on Facebook. And wants to post Vegas pictures. And I have some pictures from the dam that I'll post.
Damn.
We're about to not go.
What? To the dam?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because you keep saying that.
Oh, it's the perfect dad joke.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I mean, it's in Beavis and Butthead Do America. It's in Vegas Vacation. It's
you have to.
It's a thing. It's what they do.
But then after that, it's over. After that, it's raining.
It is.
Yeah. It's
weird.
Gentle trinkling of trinkling. Wow. I'm not drinking.
Right.
Okay. So I think that's it. I think that's all I have. For,
yeah.
For best of.
Looking through my notes, I've gone through all my personal stories. Anything else you want to add?
No. Oh, just that we're going to Hell's Kitchen.
Yes. So Hell's Kitchen, which there was a period of time where we were watching that show every single week. Gordon Ramsay just fucking cursing and going off on all of these potential chefs is one of the most entertaining things you'll ever see.
I love seeing his stuff on Instagram, like, or seeing the memes where like people are cooking and call him, like, say, hey, Gordon Ramsay, check this out. And either they're like surprisingly good or he just fucking rails on them the entire time. Like, what the fuck you doing, you donkey? Right?
Yeah.
He's a great personality. Kathy likes him too.
Yeah. The meme, the what are you? And he's got the two pieces of bread between their head.
Yes.
I'm an idiot sandwich.
That'll be. Will he be there? Like
probably not.
No.
Yeah,
like I don't think they're filming like that. I've heard of. They're usually not.
But we are eating there. So
yeah, that'll be cool.
Who burned the risotto?
Let's see. I had something else. Fuck. And it's gone. It's gone. God damn it.
That's fine.
Have you ever walked through the MGM? Like to see like where the zoo and all that other bullshit?
I haven't been to a zoo, but I mean the MGM is fucking huge.
They have that like where you could see the animals and shit. I'm pretty sure that was the MGM. Otherwise, I was in it.
About that face.
I was in another zoo. I don't know. But I thought you could see like the tigers and the stuff from the show.
The tigers, the Siegfried and Roy show was the Mirage, but they're both dead now. Yes. So
they have fucking animals at MGM. I swear to it. Swear to it. Jamie, pull that up. Yeah, I only told one good, really good fucking Vegas story.
That was a really good story.
Thank you. It's fucking that I'll have Alzheimer's and that shit will be in my fucking head.
Yeah,
thinking of those dentures. But yeah, I'm excited for you guys. I think Kathy and I are going to do something similar in the future.
Yeah,
Go out there. Not when it's fucking ungodly hot though, because fuck that.
Yeah.
Like when you're walking on one side of the street in particular, because the shade of the buildings is on that side, and if you were on the other side of the street, you'd literally turn into a puddle. It's a little warm.
Right.
And you have to like go to the M&M store and eat all the M&Ms before you get out on the street because they will also melt. That is also
Yeah. And I think this time that we're going now, like early May, that's probably the latest in the spring/summer year that you want to go.
I think you guys would be pretty comfortable, honestly.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 80s, low 90s.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
Yeah.
My battery's running low.
All right. Well, then that is a good place to close this up. So, again, this is the final episode.
Yes.
From a Gen X point of view. From here on out, we will be the Sidebar Cantina.
That's right. And our first Sidebar Cantina joint, episode number 200, because we're combining our episode numbers. Yep, doing seamless. 4 penises. The Dutchman's treasure. Follow us at the Sidebar Cantina on Instagram.
Yep.
Find the Sidebar Cantina on the YouTube because that's where it's going to be. And by the way, tomorrow is Star Wars Day, and
May the 4th.
May the 4th be with you. And we're doing the Bad Batch because the Bad Batch comes out tomorrow. So our episode 3PO. So our episode on Thursday is going to be our reactions to the Bad Batch.
Yeah, and I would imagine it's only one episode, right? It's not like 2 episods.
I don't have any idea.
Yeah, Jamie, pull that up.
Yeah, but do it quick because my battery's dying.
Yeah.
Because some idiot fucking hardwired his goddamn charger in at home because he's an idiot.
He's talking about himself.
Yes, that would be me.
Yeah.
Star Wars Day, and I'm assuming that there's going to be some other stuff. May the 4th has always been a kind of a release date. Fact is, isn't it the 4-year anniversary from when we started all things Star Wars?
That's right.
May the 4th. So, congratulations to us.
Yep. And by the way, we have a special, Thursday episode this week. Normally we do Mondays, but we are doing Thursday the 6th.
6th? Yes.
Yeah, the 6th.
What he
so
go on social media and verify that that's correct because our social media person will keep us in line for that shit.
Indeed. Because we will not be recording next week, next Monday, the 10th,
right?
Because I'll be in Las Vegas.
Right. So will she, right? This time, you're like, she's actually going to remember being there, right?
I guess. We'll see.
You're not going to give her like some flories to all right.
How about Groundies?
Desert Creeps. Hi. I love the new I'm sorry, I was really bad on the chat this episode, and I apologize. So I think we should sign off before bad things happen.
Right. So yeah, tune in Thursday, the 6th, we decided.
Yes.
For episode 200 of the Sidebar Cantina.
Yes.
The rebranding, the final branding, the final countdown, the final form of this Dave and Jason show. That's not really going to change.
Yeah, honestly, it's just
the names have changed, but the players are the same. And yeah, it'll be good. Good times.
Yes.
Any last words, special guest?
No, not really. Just thank you for finally having me on after 4 years.
I'm pretty sure that door's been open for a long time, but this is
especially since he's been podcasting for longer than 4 years. It's just been the Dave and Jason show for 4 years.
Yeah. I've never had an impact.
Again,
before.
remember, guests are going to gang up on Jason.
You know what? Y'all can fucking suck a dick.
All right.
That being said,
well, we're all sucking dicks.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Sidebar Cantina, private Facebook group at the Sidebar Cantina on Instagram.
Yes.
YouTube.com/C/the Sidebar Cantina. That's where we're at.
Yep.
That's where we're going to be from here on out. We love you guys. Yep. You are the best. We're also the best.
We are also the best. The Escape Pod is also up there.
As is Sweet Studios.
As is Sweet Studios. As is the Use and Abuse podcast. As is Keith Lehman.
Yep.
And everyone else that is getting ready to watch Grogu's mom win the fucking NHL fantasy football or fantasy hockey. Fuck, I haven't been drinking.
Yeah.
Damn it.
And you know who's really the best? Better than anybody else? Generation X.
That's right.
Generation X, the best fucking generation. And remember, everything we told you today was true
Don't slam it.
from a Gen X point of view.
Oh god, he slammed it. Okay, now what do I click? And my computer is shutting down.
I was wondering why he was like pouring the dregs, the gross.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's because I holler at him.
Yeah,
You're
it's
not allowed
tradition.
to toast
Mhm.
with an empty glass.
That's true.
So this is a brick right now. Are we still live?
Oh my god.
We are.
Ugh.
Sorry, camera 2 is out because the battery died. The battery. So Sunday. What time do you guys have to leave?
Let me check the spreadsheet.
Spreadsheet of Justice, engage.
We are leaving at 8:40 p.m.
Okay. So probably leave here.
Between 5 and 6.
Okay.
I would say. He likes to. Once we were so early for a flight, we got to Philly like 5.5 hours early with the whole family. We had little toddlers. We were there so early that they took pity on us and put us on an earlier flight.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. Kathy and I are going to be driving back from State College.
Mhm.
But we should be home by then. So it shouldn't be an issue. For some reason I thought you guys' flight was at like 5. So that might be. It takes us about 4 hours to drive back.
God, I feel like it's like an hour and a half away. I forget it's that far.
Yeah.
That was just long.
It's in the middle of fucking Pennsylvania. Woo! I also have to go.
Everything all right with Kate?
Nah, she feels like shit. And her boyfriend is in Chicago.
Are we still live? Okay.
Are we?
So,
Yeah.
ouch. Why does my leg hurt?
Nothing.
I still cannot believe that you don't remember that we were going to get married in Vegas
I thought we were
in
live. I
2000.
don't think anything I said to Dave picked up.
That's fine. It's all the post show. So
But-
it's a bonus.
It's not a bonus if you don't get it. Anyway.
You don't remember at all that we were going to stop in Vegas and get
No.
married. At all.
Not at all.
Even like the hinting and the flirting with the idea. You don't remember any of
I
this.
don't remember that discussion at all. That even being on the table.
It was mostly your idea.
I don't think it was.
Yes, it most certainly was. You were the one who was pushing to get married.
I had my engagement ring. I was good with that.
You were not good with that. There was a point. We were living together. We were staying in the Whitehall apartments. See if you remember this one.
I remember the apartments.
Yeah. And we're having this long conversation about like the future and everything else. This was still about a year removed from me like getting out of the Air Force, but I knew that's what I was doing. I knew I was getting out of active duty. I was done. I was going home to California. Fuck it. And we're talking and we're having this big conversation and like I'm sitting on the edge of the bed and we're talking and I'm like, well, you know what? Fuck, like I'm going to California. Like, what do you want to do at this point? And she's like, I want to get married. And she pushes me off of the fucking bed, and I crash down to the fucking floor.
That did not happen.
You liar! She's like, I want to get married.
Well, does that sound like something I would do?
Yes, because you did it. I'm not the smartest person in the world. I forget a lot of things, but I distinctly remember that. I distinctly remember You coming up with the idea of us getting married in Vegas on our way to
Well,
California.
no, it was my idea.
Yes, it was your
He
idea.
didn't bring that up before. It's almost like he just now decided that it was my idea.
It was always your idea. I was fine with it. I was willing to go along with it. I'm like, sure, whatever. You know, I was with it. I was hip.
No, you were never.
But I don't know.
I realized the camera is only on me, so
Oh,
to see mom and dad fight live. or at least
It's
you see
over.
the
I
top
won.
of your heads.
right.
Yeah, like, it's fucking, there you go. Well,
Yellow. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Bert.
all right, fine. It's going back.
Well,
Oh!
Jesus Christ, Dave. Remember, he has not had any alcohol tonight.
None at all. Whatsoever.
Oh, my God.
It's good television, though.
I suppose for the people who are still tuned in,
There's 7 people in there.
I look like Wilson? What does that even mean?
Which Wilson, the volleyball?
Wilson!
The volleyball? I should probably be near my mic. Huh?
Yeah,
My mic's still active.
like,
My computer's dead.
I look like the fucking volleyball with the fucking red handprint? That Wilson?
Why would you invite the red handprint all of a sudden? Like, why would you do that? If I said that in front of my wife, I would have a big red handprint suddenly on my forehead. That's what would happen. Like, oh, I'm going to swing this door open. What could possibly go wrong?
It's all right. I'm not afraid. She won't hit me.
Are you serious?
She would definitely hit you. I 100% believe that she would hit you. I'm going to tilt this back that way again. Go ahead, let's see it.
Thankfully, you can't see me, so.
No, we
Oh,
can
God.
fix that. If you're
Okay.
get motion sick easy, fucking don't look right now.
Yeah.
What's it look like?
It looks like
Not
Kristen's
good.
hair.
Does anyone want another Twix?
I'm good. I didn't eat the other one.
I didn't have a single one,
You don't
so.
wanna-
Yeah, I'm
It
good.
looks like Johnny 5. Looks like the Perseverance. Hey, how about the fucking Ingenuity flying the shit out of the fucking Mars right now?
Yeah.
Isn't that badass?
It's awesome.
That shot with that shot where it's the Ingenuity is kind of like it giving you that panoramic and you can just see Perseverance like off in the corner.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know, it's like one of those reality shots that you're like, holy fuck, this is like really like I don't know. I can imagine like 20 years from now, there's going to be people like, we never went to Mars. That shit was all fake. It was all CGI, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and I can tell you right now that like, we could probably CGI it better.
Probably. Yeah.
Like, if we were going to do it CGI, would probably do it better. We can't dumb it down enough.
Oh, sure.
It's just like with the fucking the lunar shit.
Mhm.
Like they didn't even like there couldn't possibly have fucking like filmed it. Like the mechanics of the way the film worked couldn't be done to
Right.
make what people that say we faked the moon landing. And I don't know. It's like I said with all that shit, like all you really need to do is fucking be able to build a rocket big enough to fucking throw some shit out there and get it going one direction, creating the environmental system to keep somebody alive in it.
Mhm.
It's not very hard. It's just a matter of how much weight can you throw into into space. And we were really good at building rockets because we were building rockets to nuke people.
Right.
So we knew what we were doing. So the idea that we faked any of that shit is just preposterous.
Frederick Martin mentioned that the moon landing was shot by Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, yeah. Remind me to throat punch you, Rick, the next time I see you. Yeah.
Is Kate all right?
I don't know. Like I said, she's alone. But he demanded everything be authentic, so they actually filmed it on the moon. This is not a commercial. On a commercial. I'm going to find out how Kate is doing right now. Ow! Did you get the fly?
Fuck.
Nope, missed it.
Ah, damn.
God damn. I have shoulders tomorrow in the gym.
It'll probably make it feel better.
Fuck. I've already got a knot. Oh, that's fucked up.
That was awesome. I was that on video? Was
I
it
don't
on video?
know.
Not sure.
Damn it! I hope that was on video.
Oh, I've got a lump right there. What the fuck, man? Ugh. It's messed up.
Sorry, I may have invited that for you. But
Probably. I'm
not
sure.
really.
I'm sure I egged it on a little.
yeah,
bit,
I'm not really that sorry.
Yeah.
All right, well, kids, I'm gonna get going.
All right. Probably a good time to end the live stream.
Yes.
Well, again, thanks everybody. Weird camera angle.
Look, we're doing our best here. This isn't. This isn't Dutch Vickers fucking filming here. Which did you see the Sweet Studios?
Hold it still. Jesus Christ, I'm getting nauseous just watching the fucking StreamYard.
Now Vickers did that video with Big Swede. Then he put look for Sweet Studios on Instagram. You can see the video.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, it's good shit.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Anyway, I think we're gonna end this.
Yes, we will see you Thursday.
Yeah, for Sidebar Cantina 200.
That's right. The Bad Batch. Let's do it. 3 p.m.
All right. Thanks everybody who's still with us.
Yep. Wherever the camera is.
Yeah, wherever you are. We love you guys, and we will see you in 3 days because that's how math works.